Hey everybody! Hey! I'm Trooper SJP, and this is the Academic Foxhole. It is our Thursday game time, and we're going to play Wandersong, which is one of the games nominated for Excellence in Narrative by the IGF Independent Games Festival Excellence in Nominees, but we have to talk about something first. First, we have to talk about something. Hey everybody, how are you all doing? We have to talk about something, it's important. You can probably see that I am super red-faced right now. Like you can see, like I'm all red and also a little bit shiny at the moment. And so I want to talk about where I've been in the last time period. As you noticed, I started a little late, mainly because I was trying to take care of my face and it was not working. Oh, Varum, there's an echo because of my life. That's basically why. Hold on. I can fix it, but if I do, I don't have good visibility. Hold on. I can fix it. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Ah! Okay, I'm back. So I can fix it by putting up my my little sound booth thing, but it's quite large, you know? And when I do that, what that means is I have really bad monitor visibility. But I believe I have really bad monitor visibility, but I think it makes everything much less echoey, which means I should probably put this. Oh, I don't think that'll be good for when the RPGs happen. Maybe if I do it like that. Maybe if I do it like that, it'll be less heinous on the. Yeah, checking chat will be a bit of an adventure, is all I'm going to say. Hello? No, I don't hear an echo at all. No. Yeah, you might have two tabs open because I am not getting any echoes at all. Because yeah, and from what I'm hearing, I don't have anything wild going on. I have nothing. Hey everybody. What about now? Ow, ow, ow. So I put up my little sound booth thing, which might help some. But again, I don't think I've got. No, just when I'll restart my browser. All right, everybody. So I've got to tell you what's going on in my life. Also, if I keep this little sound booth thing up, I suppose the question is the audio so much better with this little sound thing up that it is worth it to have it there, would be the question. Because if it is, I will keep it up. So let's talk about what's going on with my life and the difficulties of it. Like how hard my life is. I know that I'm supposed to put chat here. This is what I'll do. There. Couldn't tell the difference today. The regular sound treatment had a much more significant difference. So right now I've put up a big, huge sound. You can't see it. You can't see it right now. Hold on. Maybe I can do this. Hold on. If you want to see it, I think I can do this. Hold on. So here you go, right? So monitors, right? There we are. Woo! Monitors. Yay! 3 monitors like that. So what I did was I put up this huge sound. This is a special acoustic curtain that I got from some sound company. And this specifically is made to dampen sound. And I put up, since it's an apartment and I can't, what do you call it? I do not want to lose my security deposit, that I used heavy duty command strips to affix this curtain to the wall. Many command strips, like more than one, like multiple. Ambara Garwin, multiple command strips. It was a little bit ridiculous. Here, now we're back. So that I put up to help deaden the sound in general, and I think it made a big, huge difference. Ambara Garwin. So that was what I did. That was the first thing I did to sort of fix up the sound. And right now, I have also put up this little sound thing, but it's very in the way. Like, it's quite inconvenient. So if I take it off, the question is it super awful without the little wall blocking me from my monitors? You let me know. So let me tell you what's happening. You don't think it makes a big difference? All right, because it's what I should probably do is get a little rug, but I don't know when that's going to happen. All right, so let me tell you what's going on. I'm going to tell you my life. So I have a little bit of, is the wall up or down? It's right now the wall is down. I took it off. So right now this is it without the little special wall. And this is it with it back on. So this is it with the wall right now, with the wall. And then without the wall. Oh, all right then. Well then, what I should probably do is get a little bit of a rug on the floor. That would probably help. All right, so I have to tell you what happened. I have to tell you about my life so you know how difficult my life is and how much I suffer. So I didn't get this until maybe 2 years ago. It's noticeable, but not life-changing. Yeah, there might be a way to get a similar effect without having that thing in the way. And so I'm going to experiment with that. So 2 years ago, maybe leave it up for the RPGs. Maybe, yeah. Maybe I'll leave it up for the RPGs unless I can get a little carpet rug, unless I can get a rug. And of course, the big question is whether or not having it up will negatively impact my ability to see the things I need to see. Polished, you're moving house? Really? Tell us more about that. Is it something that you, how do I put this? Yeah, so actually Crone's moving house too. Crone's moving house, Commander Pulsar's moving house, might be streaming from a garage. Oh, well yeah, Pulsar's also moving house. Is Polished, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Is it a thing you are excited about or a thing you are less excited about? You should say. You're ambivalent. Was it your choice or was it your choice? Do you know what I mean? Are you moving because you're like, oh, here's a better opportunity? Or are you moving because your landlord is like, get out? Or because there's black mold in your apartment? Or because your apartment is full of palmetto bugs or locusts or ghosts? I will cut my living expenses in half, but it's an area I don't like. Oh. My lease expired and I can't afford to renew it unless I get a flatmate. Is the area still commutable? Still commutable? Yes, no? Ish. So, okay, let me tell you what's going on. 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, I started having my face break out in redness. And I was like, why is all of a sudden, out of nowhere, about about 2 years ago, my face breaking out in redness. So I went to the doctor. The doctor's like, oh, it's probably this rando thing. So I got a cream and I was like, okay, but the cream really didn't do anything. So I went to a dermatologist and the dermatologist is like, we don't know what it is. And they're like, I would think it's rosacea, but you're a person of color and people of color don't get rosacea, so it can't be that. So then like after a while, she's like, no, I was wrong. It is rosacea. So she gave me medication, which I've been taking for the last 2 years, and the medication makes my face normal. And so that's great. I take this medication once a day, and it sort of keeps my face from being ridiculous. And she gives me a year-long prescription, is what she does. Right? So it's like it's refills that'll take 1 year, and then at the end of the year, I need to see her in person for another like a yearly checkup, and then she'll renew the medication. So the new place has heaps of space. Ooh, it's cat friendly. Has a flatmate, dishwasher, and a bathtub. However, it's old without air conditioning. Ooh. I had no idea that PSC supposedly can't get rosacea. No, apparently it's very rare with people of color. Apparently rosacea is rare with people of color, so much so that people assume that it is not rosacea if you're a person of color and you have rosacea symptoms until they decide that it really must be. So apparently that's the thing. So here's the thing. I went to go get my medication renewed, and they said, your year is up. The doctor will not renew it. And I am mixed. I am. I had a coworker with that. He had to use medicated sunscreen. Oh, that's interesting. So here's the thing. She would not renew my medication because I have to go in to see her to have an appointment. So I called and I said, hey, I do not live in the same state as my doctor at the moment. It's just more noticeable. Yeah, it's just more noticeable on pale complexions. So I was like, hey, I am in New York, not Massachusetts right now. I am not permanently in Massachusetts. I'm only temporarily in Massachusetts. Do you think she could renew my medication, also COVID, remotely? And I was not able to talk to her personally. I was able to talk to the receptionist. The receptionist said, oh, we're not certain because, it's sort of her policy that you do need to have an appointment. However, also she has no appointments free at all for a really long time. And I was like, and I think probably because of COVID. So she won't renew the medication unless I have an appointment, but she also has no appointments. And also I'm in a different state. So anyway, I explained everything to the receptionist or the administrator, the phone person. And I hope that she will call it in. And I thought it would be fine, but then I was like, my face is falling apart. It has now been a week since I took my rosacea medication, and now my face is falling apart. And before I started stream today, I was like, oh, why is my face falling apart? So I was like, oh no. So I did like a scrub to try to get all the dead skin off, and then I put in some cocoa butter to moisturize. So I'm a little shiny at the moment. So I'm a little shiny, and all of my face is falling off. But there you go. Topical antibiotic or pills? I want to know what to take. I'm taking pills. Can't they just send your info to a local doctor? So Polished Cryptid, that's the exciting thing about my situation. Scabby Neck says, that's so frustrating. I'm sorry. Surely she could call in a prescription that would last until a scheduled appointment. I know, right? So Polish, this is the tricky thing. My health insurance is still based out of Massachusetts, which means that doctors here in New York are out of network and will be super crazy expensive because they won't count, my insurance won't cover them because they're not in Massachusetts. So my health insurance is in Massachusetts, and I still am kind of in I'm theoretically, technically, I don't know. I don't really, it's a little bit of a mystery to me. US healthcare is a wild ride in the sense that I'm a little bit worried what's going to happen when taxes come around, to be honest, because the situation I'm in is going to be a little bit weird. So, yeah, network. Yeah, I mean, So if you want to know, I'm living in New York right now for the school year. And I got a fellowship to be in New York. However, if the fellowship paid me, I would lose all of my benefits at my home institution, because if the home institution doesn't pay me, then I get no benefits. So I would have lost like my health care, and I would have lost like all my benefits. So they have a process where what would happen is that the school I'm at now would pay my home institution, and then my home institution would pay me. So I'm getting paid from my home institution in Massachusetts. I still have my health insurance in Massachusetts. I think I'm still a Massachusetts resident. It's a little unclear to me, but I bet I'll be paying state income tax in both states. Also, I took like a 1/3 pay cut. So like, I have no idea how it's going to work out when it comes tax time, because it's gonna be exciting. I'm gonna go to a tax preparer. I'm gonna go to H&R Block and tell them to fix it. That is gonna be my I'm gonna be like, hey, you fix this. So you still work for your home school, they're just renting you out to, yes, I still work for my home school, they're just renting me out to Ithaca. And I just don't know how that's gonna work out with everything, actually, with doctors and with taxes and all of that. Yeah. Clinique's redness solution smoothing cleanser and the redness solution day cream and some moisturizer. Oh, I see. Yeah, no, I've got a pill that they have me take once a day, right before I go to bed, and then I also have a cream that is like a special cream, but I don't usually have to use the cream, although I will be using it now. Anyway, so if I'm looking particularly shiny and also red, that is why. But I wanted to tell you that I was like, oh, I'm shiny and I'm red and my skin hurts. That's the stuff I take that you should get your fingers on. Rather than Clinique, I'm using for lotion, I've got it's some French thing, some like French lotion that is apparently very good. Apparently, but I'm going to copy what you said so that and put it somewhere. Where will I put it? I need a there. Oh, I feel like it's time to sing. This is what it is. Krellin, thank you. From the pharmacy, probably not from the pharmacy, Ice Bunny. Probably not in the US, probably just in a regular store, probably, because the United States is weird compared to the world. Is what I'm gonna say. So first, I want to sing the song for Krellin for his renewal, his 26th month resub using Prime. So I'm gonna sing this in Prime numbers. I'm not. I'm just gonna sing it like a normal person. So for Krellin, the name game. Come on, everybody. I say now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F, or an M will appear. And then I say Bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fan, or info. And then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Krellin, Bobellin, banana, fana, fo, felon, fee, fi, mo, melon. Krellin. One more time, though. Banana fanafo, banana fanafo, fee, fi, mo, banana fanafo. No. Banana fanafo, banana fanafo, fee, fi, mo, banana fanafo. Banana fanafo. You know, I got the banana fanafo much better now. I just want you to know it. I don't know which U.S. had state-based health insurance. That would be. Oh yeah, Wizard. The U.S. is the size of Europe. Having it done nationally would be insane. Yeah. That song makes me feel so dumb. I can never remember it. So okay. So as the song says, right? So let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. Here's how the song goes. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F or an M will appear. And then I say bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. And then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. And then the song goes, Okay, are you ready? Let's try Tony. Now first say Tony, Tony. And then say Tony with a B. Then you say Bo, then you say Tony with a B. Bo, Boney, then banana fanafo, banana fanafo. And then you say the name with an F, phony. And then a fee, fi, and a mo, fee, fi, and a mo. And then you say the name again with an M this time, Moni. And there isn't any name that you can't rhyme. And like they do the whole, and then like the song, The Name Game by Shirley Ellis, goes through many names. I feel like they're all members of the band is what I think. I think they're all band members, and she does it a lot, and it makes me really happy. It doesn't help that the song explains it. That's why it makes me feel dumb. Oh no, oh no. What it should be is regionally administered and federally funded. Yeah, no, I think that's true, Carlin. And also it's tricky because like Europe, although I do have questions about Australia, how that works, because Australia is pretty big, right? Australia is pretty big. There is a European health insurance card. I can go to a doctor or hospital anywhere and get my money back. Not even being able to do that within a nation is bizarre to me. Yeah. You have a public-private hybrid system. Polished. Hey, is there anybody here from the UK? I have a question. If there's anybody from the UK, I have a question. So one thing I would say that Krellin could point out is that the states have really different standards of living and costs of living, and also insurance premium. Like the cost to insure somebody in Massachusetts is really quite different from the cost to insure someone in like the Appalachia or in Iowa or in California or Texas or Alaska. And because it costs a different amount of money to insure people in different states, even if you have the same insurance company, like there are a couple of insurance companies I think that are larger, but they have these networks that are basically by state. It's the same thing with car insurance, actually. So like I think I had Geico motorcycle insurance before in California. When I moved to Massachusetts, and then I moved to Virginia, and I just transferred it over there. Then I moved to Massachusetts, and I wanted to transfer my motorcycle insurance up to Massachusetts, but there was no Geico in Massachusetts. It just didn't. Geico wasn't in Massachusetts, and so I didn't have motorcycle insurance, and so I didn't ride, and so then I got rid of my motorcycle. Yeah, because like we're very very different in our spaces. I do have a question for British people. Australia isn't quite like the US because while we live mostly on the coast, but like 1/3 in the middle, in Australia only 12 people live in the middle. Fair. Every citizen has access to Medicare, public health, but there's also several private options that are effectively premium. Interesting. So I have a question that I heard, and I don't know if it's true. But first, I want to sing our bit song. And then I'm going to ask this question because I've been hearing about this a lot, which gives me pause. It makes me think about things in sort of complicated ways. And like, we could talk about it for a moment. Does that mean that it's too cold for the Geico lizard? Probably. Although apparently they might have Geico in Massachusetts now, but I got here like 11 years ago. Here, Massachusetts, right now I'm in New York. Anyway, I'm going to sing to thank Krellin for. I thought Krellin was Trooper, but I am Trooper. But to thank Krellin for those bits, I'm going to sing "We're in the Money" as sung by Ginger Rogers in the film Gold Diggers of 1933, which means I'm going to sing it in Pig Latin. But in this hand. Airway and hey, the anime. Airway and hey, the anime. Eve at gale at way of way at wakes to ute at gale on way. Airway and hey, the anime. Either I skays or ani say. Old man, the ADS and pray, we are a thray, you was down way on rail. Ewa ever to eat ray at leons lay, way at brayons lay, ute day. And we see the Emily will look left the eye, get right in the eye. We're in the money, we're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. Polished, I had something to tell you, and it was simply T for your voice. I know it's like late, but I was in the middle of madness. But for your voice, steam, like boil a pot of water, steam, lemon and honey. Lemon is good. Any dairy is bad. No dairy. Did I know that Geico was an acronym? I did know it was an acronym, but I did not know it was an acronym for. We were also flounced off from the Continental Congress, where each state was more or less its own nation. It's true. Yeah, but I was like, wait, and I was like, it was on my mind this entire time. How is your voice doing, Polished? Hey, Sea Spider, how is your voice? How is it going? Honey, lemon, no dairy. No dairy. Government employees insurance company. Oh, that's interesting. Oh. Tia Cref, which is like one of the it's like a retirement thing, was like teachers something or other. I am looking at big red face, Sea Spider. It's because my anti-rosacea medication ran out last week, and I cannot get my prescription refilled because my doctor wants to see me in person, but my doctor is in a different state from where I live right now, and she has no appointments. And I am out of network for anybody in the state where I'm currently at, and I called her the other day, yesterday, trying to I actually tried to call her last week. I didn't get through. I finally got through yesterday. I left a message. Hopefully they will get back to me and they will say, yes, we can refill. And that would be great. That would be awesome. I mean, I did number on it by hyperventilating. That's what I messaged you. In general, though, I have asthma, a postnasal drip, GERD, and insist on singing when sitting in really strange positions. Don't sit in really strange positions. But also keep your throat warm, steam it, good wet steam. Avoid dairy when you're going to sing. Yeah, chronically inflamed vocal cords. When I was a middle schooler, so junior high, so I don't know, maybe 12, 13, I do live in a subtropical climate. Wait, how humid is Australia? How humid? Is Australia humid? It doesn't look humid. It looks nice and dry. But what if Australia is really humid? Polished, I really need you to tell me this. Oh no. Polished, you're telling me that Australia is super humid. Well, that makes sense. That's probably why you have so many poisonous giant animals and insects. Everyone in Australia lives where the water is. Depends on where you are. Okay. Because when I see, I'm going to say a polish, I'm going to say something right now, and I understand that is not the new name for it, and I am sorry, but I do not know the new name for it. The only name that I know for it is the old name for it, because that's when the media that I was like, I used to watch a lot of media from Australia. Well, not a lot, but I watch films, like Australian films and some TV, but it was all from like the 80s and early 90s. So I'm going to say a thing, and I know that this is wrong, and I'm sorry. I do not mean to be offensive, but I do not know the other name. But when I've seen like footage of Ayers Rock, and I know that's not the name for it, like the name has gone back to its original name, but I do not know what that is. It looked very dry there. Like, I mean, it looked like you were like, that looked sort of deserty. I mean, maybe Uluru. Thank you, Polished. Uluru. Uluru. It looked like, I mean, it looked dry, but what if that was all deceptive? And what if it was really super humid the entire time? Because, oh. That's the Outback. It's a desert. People don't live there. Well, I think Aboriginals live there, right? That's like in the middle of a great sand. Yeah. Wait. Polished. How do you pronounce it? How is that pronounced? Uluru. 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 What syllable has the emphasis? The emphasis. Is it Uluru? Emphasis on the first syllable. Uluru. Emphasis on the second syllable. Uluru. Emphasis on the third syllable. Is it ooze or is it uz? I feel like this is bad that I do not like. I feel like this is bad that I cannot pronounce this. It's distressing. How to typing how Australians say anything is impossible. Australians do have amazing accents. I love the Australian accent, but I also like love Olivia Newton-John and have done since Greece when I was like 6 years old. How to pronounce how to pronounce okay. Let's see. Is this it? Uluru. Uluru. More of an Huh. Is that right? Is this random person on the internet correct? Uluru. I just want to hear Polish say it because I don't trust this person. I feel like this person is lying to me. I mean, maybe they're not, but. Oh, okay, wait. I've got more. Oh, I should give you more volume so you can hear it better. Here we go. I'm gonna give you more volume here. More volume.
Uluru. Uluru.
Uluru.
Uluru.
Uluru. Uluru.
Uluru.
Uluru. I feel like I'm saying that more or less. Uluru. Anyway, that looked dry. Saying Australia is dry because of the Outback is like saying America is dry because of Nevada. That's true. That's true. I remember hearing that Mel Gibson needed to be dubbed. Oh, he did. I remember watching the first Mad Max, and the entire film was dubbed into American. I don't know. I imagine it was not dubbed into American in Australia. Maybe it was. I don't know. I just know that the first Mad Max that I saw was the first Mad Max was dubbed into American English, and it was weird because it was clearly dubbed. like it was just like the mouth sound was a little bit off, and it was a little bit weird because it was obviously dubbed, but I didn't understand why because they were speaking in English. I think from a production guide from the Australian government. Oh, huh. Rilla arrives. The most super suspect question you ever heard. Is this random person on the internet right? Maybe. I don't know. What was his name? The nature dude that always dangerous creatures. Oh yeah, Steve Irwin. Yeah, parts of the country are really hecking dry. It would be a weird thing to troll the pronunciation of words. Your turn, my turn. It would be, wouldn't it? But this one here, Forvo, all the words in the world pronounced has got at least 4 different people pronouncing it, so that you have at least, so that you at least have multiple versions of what that would sound like at least. Ice Shield, no, Ice Shield. We should make you a regular. Ice Shield, we're gonna add you. Don't worry, Ice Shield. Shield 2222. You are added. Oh. Okay. Well, first off, I just would like to point out that we are having today in the Foxhole, we're talking about pronunciation, but pronunciation is important. It's important. Maryland is not dry. Most of the East Coast is pretty humid. Yeah, it is. I was on the West Coast, which is actually pretty dry. Sorry about Ice Shield. You've been. Thank you. What is this? Oh, this is cool. The stress is always stress on the first syllable. The letters T, N, L, and R can be written with a line called a retroflex underneath. Retroflexes are there to remind the reader to pronounce the sound a certain way, a different way to the same letter without the line. A retroflex letter is pronounced by pronouncing the sound slightly curling the tongue back in the mouth. This produces a sound similar to an R sound. For example, a retroflex on the R tells us this is more like a normal R. Without a retroflex, it has a rolled R sound. Well, okay. So, Uluru does not have a rolled R sound. Oh, Krellin, about emus, Polish laughed at me how I pronounced emu. Because she thought it. Actually, no, she wasn't the only one. I was there. We were all there for one of the tavern talks, and it was me and some Australians, and I said emu, and they both laughed, and I was not offended that they were laughing at my accent. I thought it was cool because sometimes I think it's good when people laugh at your accent. Not in a bad way, but like in a loving way. Like the emu. Yeah. Trolling pronunciation would be super effective, though. All the people who have only read the word may adopt your troll thinking you are sincere, and then you have developed an entire valid pronunciation because you have changed the language recently. Yeah, it's funny when the accents are different, especially when it catches you off guard. Yes. So yeah, apparently emu is not how you say it in the land where the emus are from. You say it in a different way than what I said it. Well, let's see. Emu. We're looking for someone who is English. I'm looking for English. Okay. So here are people from Australia pronouncing the word emu so that we can hear what they have to say. Okay.
Emu.
They pronounce it with a liquid U.
Emu.
Liquid U. Emu. Yeah. So apparently it is pronounced
Emu.
with a liquid U. Although here's an American.
Emu.
Ooh.
Emu.
Oh, everybody's using the liquid U. Liquid U, everybody.
Emu.
Oh, emu. So apparently, emu is pronounced with a liquid U. This is a person pronouncing it from Germany.
Emu.
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 German, they don't use a liquid U. Emma, emu. Australia went to work the emus, and lost. Emu. A classmate told us once that his buddies was in Australia and the girlfriend freaked out over the tarantula that sneaked into the room, and the big one was harmless. The tiny one she caught could have killed her in under 20 minutes with one bite. Just don't touch spiders. Don't touch things in Australia. Apparently some tourist who was not Australian saw a platypus, thought it was cute in the wild, picked it up and was like, oh, cute platypus. And the platypus, apparently, they have venom. It stung him and then he died because apparently they don't really, it gets a very fast acting venom that I don't know if they have an antidote for. So, I mean, I'm just saying. You're looking to the English for this. Yeah, no, apparently, the Australia went to war with emus, and lost. Barum says, my husband is an introvert and a big reader, so his pronunciation based on reading and not speaking comes from time to time. Plus, listening to people pronounce biblical names in places can be funny. Yes. Mew as in Mew. Emu Watson. Emu 2. The liquid U sounds like diving school. Liquid sounds like well, there was a liquid something or other. Oh, huntsman. Ooh. No, that's big spiders are mostly harmless. There's what is it? It's so yeah, so like, you know, Duke University should be pronounced Duke. That like there's technically a liquid U in Duke, but people, Americans in general have dropped the liquid U's, although not completely. That's right, MTV had liquid television. That's what it was. Duke. There are a couple words that you should still use the liquid U for, but we Americans tend to just drop it. In before Krill meets a 200-pound spider. No, a 200-pound spider would be gigantic. Like, it would be much bigger than man-sized, and I feel like that's inappropriate. Like, I don't think we need that. Putative, yes. Thank you, your turn, my turn. Putative, Duke, puce, you should say unduly, tubular, yes. I'm bigger than 200 pounds. Yeah, but I feel like spiders aren't that dense, and so for there to be a spider that weighed 200 pounds, it would probably have to be like as big as a skyscraper, right? You're assuming it has the same densities as. Oh, that's true. That's true. I suppose that is true. Atomica says, I'm being social tonight, so I might miss stream or might catch the end before the first 10 minutes of gameplay. Puke. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, puke. Puke, that's a good one. What if it's just a silicon-based life form, and therefore every molecule is substantially heavier? Accusation, that's a good one. That's a good one. Polish said, Trooper, have I shown you the Aussiest interview ever? No, you haven't. But I feel like you should. I feel like how is it that you've not shared this with me? Now I am sad. I feel like this is terrible. Please put it in our Discord. Atomica, for you. So here's the thing, before I start, I'm left-handed, and so I want to hold my megaphone with my left hand, but I also like to snap when I sing the song, and I'm not a good snapper with my right hand, so then I have to hold it with my right hand, but I always want to hold it with my left hand. So, Atomica, Irway and hey, the anime. Irway and hey, the anime. Eve way up, way up, it wakes to it, gay young way. Irway and hey, the anime. Either I skays or ani say. Oh man, the depression bray, ooh, three, you stay on way young rail. Eat red Landsley, red Brandsley, ute day. And when we see the Eliot, we'll look left the eye, get right in the eye. We're in the money, we're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. Thank you for those bits, Atomica. America just does, we don't do everything wrong. Our accents are a little bit closer to like old British accents than received pronunciation, which is sort of just made up. I will catch you later, Atomica. Frequently, America does things wrong because we saw other people doing it first, and we said we have to be different, or we learned it from watching you, Dad. Brisbane representing. Ooh. J'accuse the Duke of putatively puking on the ukulele tubular. Yes. There was another thing that I wanted to share. Oh no. It wasn't emus. Emu. It's weird, right? The only thing Americans know how to do well is button where you don't belong. Oh, and adopt bad habits. Are you kidding, Embargarn? First off, let's rewind. 1, we do excellent barbecue. 2, I think our breakfasts are some of the best in the world. I think American breakfast is delish. We have amazing food in general. So A, food, especially breakfast, also barbecue. B, what else do we do really well? I think we, thank you, Scabby Neck. I'm just saying, our breakfast. That's not an American thing. Over in the UK, they like to rename pretty much everything they adopt that started in the US first, especially with slang. Yeah, embargo. We have good food. Now, I'm not saying that other places don't have good food. Other places also have good food. It's just that I think we do breakfast particularly well. We're pretty diverse, even if it's persecuted diversity. Americans can't make bread for some reason. It's not meant to be sweet. Oh, you can get bitter breads in the US if you like to. Here's one thing I will say, and this is a thing that I feel very strongly about because I lived in Europe where people would talk smack about American food all the time. I lived in Germany where they would talk smack about American food. But the thing about that is they only ate like when it came to bread, they ate Wonder Bread. And I was like, yeah, I don't eat Wonder Bread. We have other bread. And I think that's one of the things that people miss about the US is that they judge us by our fast food, basically. Yeah, sourdough, right? Sourdough's delish, and sourdough's not sweet. So you can. Oh, American Biz McDonald's says Scabinac. Yeah. You should have our. Oh, German food is good. Like I lived in Bavaria. Bavarian food is very delicious. But did you have sourdough bread polished? Did you have it? I just want to know. New York rye, New York, like if you want some bread that is not sweet, New York rye, sourdough. Weird. Because when I lived in Germany, I didn't perceive the bread as being much less sweet than what I was eating in San Francisco. Black Forest cake, so delish. Now, I do know that generally speaking, US food is sweeter than European food, generally speaking. But like, not everything. Like, I always thought it was really funny when like Germans would say like, oh, your desserts are so sweet, not like ours. I was like, this is all marzipan, all of it. Like, this is just all super sweet marzipan. I enjoy it very much, mind you. But like, I'm just saying, yeah, so no, but like my German friends were like, oh, you Americans, like your food is just like all McDonald's. And then they drink a gallon of schnapps, yeah. That's most of what I remember. Savory food being sweet ended annoying me. Yeah, I think that most people I know from Europe tend to sort of, well, it's interesting, right? Because I think sort of levels of sweetness is different. But also, I don't know what it's like in Australia in terms of your food culture. I mean, if you spend more money on food, you get good food, but if you don't, it's crappy. Well, that's a thing. I don't know what it's like in Australia, but I lived in Germany, and Germany has very strict food laws. Stricter Germany, Austria, Switzerland. have really strict food laws, much stricter than, like, say, the UK or France or Spain or the rest of Europe, which I lived in Germany from 1992 to 97, and that was a problem because of with the EU, you had to be able to sort of trade food around through all the different EU countries, but like nobody sort of met the German food standards because they had pretty strict food standards, and there was like a bunch of intra-European yelling about this. Australian food culture is a lot about fusion. Oh yeah, we have some good fusion. I don't know. I think the U.S. does cheap food pretty well. I think that's true, but I also tend not to like expensive food. So maybe I'm just a peasant. It depends. Like I don't like expensive wines. I find that too bitter. Isn't it all hangover from Hanseatic League, HRA kind of stuff? I think so. Wait, did your Bayern friends not eat Wienerbrot? Oh, they did. Hey, Rissa. So no, it was so one of the things that the big debate when I was in Germany, like the big debate was about beer, because Germany has the Reinheitsgebot, which is the purity laws, which I think are from the 1600s maybe. I'm doing everything to stop myself from bringing in look, Polished, you should bring in Australian food jokes, because then we'll learn something. This is like cultural sharing. Reinheitsgebot. Okay, so we're enjoying intricacies. I don't know what a democracy sausage is. What is a democracy sausage? I'm so excited. Tell me. I'm so excited for this. All the bad bits wrapped in a dick. Is it like a hot dog? Is it like an American hot dog? I imagine that must be what it is, right? An American hot dog? Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, I bet it's a hot dog, right? Yes. Oh, after goading, you go to a sausage. Oh, it just occurred to me, outside of movies, most of the world probably judges us based on Trump and McDonald's. Yes, plain white bread and a sausage and condiments. Oh, you don't use a roll? Interesting. So, all right. So, there in 1487 in Munich, there was a purity law that was passed, and that one became really important. And then like sort of like 1516. So basically there are these purity laws in Germany that go back to the 1500s, like early 1500s. And the Bavarian law tells you what you can put in beer. And the only ingredients that you can use in the production of beer are water, barley, and hops. Although you can use yeast. And it also sets the price of beer, depending on the time of year and type of beer, limits the profits made by innkeepers, and said that if you made impure beer, it would be confiscated. So the thing about this is that this was like this huge deal in Germany, and then it became a problem with the EU because the French got really mad, because the French don't do that, right? So like almost all of Germany has sort of like incorporated this, and I think also Austria and Switzerland, but it became this huge political deal because it basically meant that not other countries were not allowed to sell beer in Germany. Italy. And so it says modern changes. In March of 87, in a case brought by French brewers, the European Court of Justice found that the Reinheitsgebot was protectionist and therefore a violation of Article 13 of the Treaty of Rome. This ruling concerned only imported beer, so Germany chose to continue to apply the law to beer brewed in Germany. General food safety and labeling laws may also apply. So then after reunification, the Neustädter Kloster Brewery, which was from the East German town, was warned to stop selling its black beer as it contained sugar, which was not allowed. After some negotiations, the brewery was allowed to sell it under the name Schwarzer Abt, but not label it beer. So they could call it Black Abbot, but they couldn't call it beer. And this was repealed. This decision was repealed by the Federal Administrative Court of Germany, through a special permit, and after legal disputes lasting 10 years, known as the Brandenburg Beer War, the Kloster Brewery got the right to call Schwarzer Abt beer again. So then there was a revised provisional beer law, which were in 93, which replaced earlier regulations with a slightly expanded version of the Reinheitsgebot, stipulating that only water, malted barley, hops, and yeast be used for any bottom fermented beer brewed in Germany. In addition, the law allows the use of powdered or ground hops and hop extracts, as well as stabilization and filling agents such as PVPP. Top fermented beer is subject to the same rules, with the addition that a wider variety of malted grains can be used, as well as pure sugars for flavoring and coloring. And then that law was limited further in 2005, which is after I left, which allowed the sale of beer with different ingredients as long as it wasn't labeled beer. Thus, the law became a labeling standard. Exceptions to the current rules can be sought and have been granted to allow gluten-free beer to be labeled as beer despite the use of different ingredients. So this was like but I lived in Germany from 92 to 97, and it was like there was a lot of discussion about this. People were very upset about this, because it also, I lived in Bavaria, where the purity laws came from, and they really took those rules seriously, and they were not happy with foreign beers coming in. And I just thought that was I thought it was really interesting. I thought it was very interesting. Coca-Cola Mickey Mouse. Wikipedia, democracy sausage is a colloquial name for the sausages sold as a fundraiser at Australian polling places on election day, often in the aid of institutions that house the polling place. Oh, that's interesting. Oh. Also, I love Tex-Mex. It's closely related to the Bunnings snag. Bunnings sausage sizzle, meaning a sausage cooked on a barbecue at a Bunnings warehouse, typical for charity purposes. What's a Bunnings warehouse? The charity will sit up outside the front of the Bunnings with a gazebo and sell a snag sanga for $2. What is a Bunnings? Oh, it's a hardware store. Oh, I see. I get it. We have something similar. Here you get flex steak for dinner because the promises of the politics. Oh,
Somebody's watching me.
I always feel that somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Whoa, I always feel that somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? Thank you so much for that follow. Your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. Thank you. So this is just for access to the market inside Germany. Well, what ended up happening is that the non-German, because all the German beers had to be used this way, and then all these non-German beers were coming in with whatever, artificial colors and sugar and all this stuff, and the Germans you can't sell that beer here, and so apparently now they can. So there you go. Germans must drink a crazy amount of beer, says your turn, my turn. They do. Your stupid French will is not beer. We invented beer. Zoom. Germans did not invent beer. They did not. It makes sense. So I bet you by the time we lost a prime minister, didn't one of your prime ministers go swimming and then never come back? Got lost in the ocean maybe? Right? Per year, an average 9.9 liters. That sounds like the Germans are barrels with holes, but you can drink beer from the age 16. Never found Harold. So I will say, when I lived in Germany, one of the things I found really interesting about living in Europe, I think it's really interesting, right? There are just these little things that I think are fascinating. And one of the things I found super fascinating about living in Europe was that, I was mostly speaking to Germans and British people. And both the Germans and the British people thought this was really interesting, insisted that alcoholism was a uniquely American phenomenon, that they did not have alcoholism in Europe. I also met a French person who said the same thing, and also an Italian person that said the same thing. So they were basically alcoholism is an American problem, they don't have alcoholism in Europe. And they said that, and I just want to, 100 liters of beer, yeah. The prime minister was missing while swimming. The Australian response was, of course, to create the Harold Holt Memorial Swimming Pool. There's no alcoholism in Colorado or Washington either. No, but what really got me is, like, I'm just telling you, like, my friends, my core group of friends in Germany were not heavy drinkers, and they drank like 2 liters of beer a day, minimum. It's only a problem if you call it a problem. Yeah, but like the people like when I joined this soccer team, they drank a lot more beer than that. And I remember this was so, and like, cause I was also I was in Bavaria where beer comes in a liter. So like you get a full liter of beer when you order a beer. And I remember that there was a thing called a Radler, and the Radler is what you would drink if you were driving. So instead of drinking a full liter of beer if you were driving, because you shouldn't drink and drive, you would drink a Radler, which is a half a liter of beer and a half a liter of 7-Up, but you might just drink 2 of those. And I'm just like, you're still drinking all the beer, everybody. Like, what are you doing? Oh my, yeah. Sea Spider is 2 liters. That's, but see, the thing is, Sea Spider, it's not that expensive in Germany because of the Reinheitsgebot. The Reinheitsgebot is not only tells you what you can put in beer, but how much you can charge for it. So German beers are not allowed. You're not allowed to charge more than a certain amount over what it costs to make the beer. So beer tends to be very, very cheap. And this is very interesting. When I was in Germany, this became a problem. Well, you're drinking the beer, but with sugar added, which, wait. So one of the things I thought was really interesting is that when I lived in Germany, there was this really interesting debate. So, I'm going to just say this as a bit of a thing. And if people want to share debates from where they're from, please do, because I find them fascinating. What the social debates are in any given country tells you a lot about that country. And especially when they're not the debates that we would have in our country, I find that so interesting. I was like, oh, that's so interesting. Also, Nightbot, what are you doing? Nightbot, I don't want that one. Oh, that's the wrong one. I have to fix that. Nightbot, what are you doing? That's not what I want. I want this. Nightbot, stop it. Here. Do this. Submit. There we go. Somewhere I I just changed it. So wait. We're playing games. So wait, what was it? Yes, I remember. So the argument was, wait, obligation, wait, who, what? Your turn, my turn. I feel like, yeah, Radlers are like 3-2, Lemony 2, yeah. So here was one of the big debates that was happening when I lived in Germany. It was so interesting that it was the 90s, is that because of the Reinheitsgebot, beer was usually the cheapest thing on the menu in any given establishment. It was cheaper than water. And when I lived in Germany, you could not, that's right, there is a CR, that's right, Critical Role. So in Germany, they will not give you free water. That is like, you know, like in the United States, if you go to a restaurant, they'll give you a glass of tap water for free. And they'll, you can just get free tap water. In Germany, there is no free water. Also, people don't drink tap water. I like tap water, and I just wanted plain water. So I remember going to a restaurant asking if I could get tap water, and they looked at me like I was insane. And they were like, you cannot have tap water. And I was like, I just want some tap water with ice. And they said, okay, we will give you the tap water, but we're going to charge you for mineral water. And I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, no free water. Water was more expensive than beer, which encouraged people to drink and then drive. And so there was this I think they passed a law while I was in Germany saying that something non-alcoholic had to be cheaper than alcohol on the menu. And so I think they worked it out so that you could get some kind of non-alcoholic beverage. They had to pass the law because of the ways in which beer was always the cheapest in there, which was so interesting. Being reminded by my mother that I like still water when I was visiting England. Yeah. Is it un-Australian to charge for tomato sauce? Is a big one. The answer is always yes. Oh, that's interesting. Really? So wait, how central is tomato sauce in Australia. That's really interesting. Wizard Style says, and judging by what I've seen, being the number one drinkers in Scandinavia is a huge accomplishment. Danish teens are the number one drinkers. Ooh, yeah. They Scandinavia apparently drinks a lot, right? Right? Like a lot. It goes on a lot of your cheap foods. Oh, that's interesting. I want to know, like by the way, I'm gonna turn on our game. I find the things that people discuss really interesting. Like what, like that's, here we go. Sweet. I'm gonna have to turn that down, I know. Cursor. Let me turn this down. It'll be too loud. Now that's way too low. You have nothing to drink if the bottle of fizzy water is empty. Honestly, Europe drinks a lot by American standards. We're practically teetotalers. Finns drink a lot. Yeah. Germany and the Czech Republic are the big beer nations, Poland to some extent. Hi, Barentor, how are you? What I noticed in Scandinavia is that they drink everything at once. Yeah, and like what I think is interesting though, and this is what I thought was really fascinating, that I was being told by British people and Germans that they don't have alcohol problems. And I was thinking, you drink more than, like, you drink so much. Like, now what I will, in their defense, at least for Germans, is that they're highly functioning. Like, they could drink 2 to 3 liters of beer a day and not get drunk. So that says something about them. But like, I'm just saying, they drink a lot. They drink a lot. They drink a lot. Why do you think Sweden and Norway have governmental booze shops? Yeah. Polish says, we've had a quarantine debate about if people should be allowed to drink when in our mandatory 2-week quarantine. Oh. Beer had been confiscated and we were getting ready to riot. Wait, Polished. Can I ask a follow-up question? Are you not quarantining in your home? I wouldn't. Oh, 2-week quarantine for travelers. Yeah, no, Germans have a super high tolerance for alcohol. At least Bavarians, they have a super high tolerance. So they don't seem drunk at all, but they do drink a lot. But your travelers, are they quarantining in like hotels or where are they quarantining? I suppose I'm curious about that. Lots of US states have state-run liquor stores. Yeah, California doesn't though. It's not a problem when your base is drunk. Bottle shops are also considered essential services. Hotel quarantine. Can you develop a tolerance to alcohol? You can, Sea Spider. I say this as a person who was in the army one time. What ends up happening is that you get used to certain, in my experience, what I found was that I could get used to certain kinds of alcohol if I drank it regularly enough, and so that I wouldn't necessarily get as drunk on that kind of alcohol. But other alcohol would not be the same. So my time in the army made it so that I was actually really good at drinking tequila. Yeah, see, yeah, Polish has a high tolerance for wine, but nothing else. So like, I have a high tolerance for tequila. I can do tequila, rum. I can do some kind of hard liquors like that. But wine will get me super drunk super fast. In a kind of a shocking way that always surprises me. So I have to remember, like, oh yeah, I don't actually drink a lot of wine. It's weird. I don't really know why that is or what that's about. My husband is a large guy. He can drink so much and not be affected. Me, not so much. As opposed to people with a high tolerance to methanol. Hey, let's find out what's going on while we're talking. Oh, Miriam got knocked unconscious. And we have to figure out if she's going to be okay. Is that because wine and beer have fuzzy alcohols? I know. I don't know. Miriam? There are a lot of levels to it. It's like terpenes and stuff. Your turn, my turn. I feel like you know stuff and you should say more about it because I want to know more about it. If I remember correctly, says iShield. Texas has a strange liquor license regime where they forbade large chain stores from selling liquor, yet they allowed families to hold multiple liquor licenses, so one family essentially owned the liquor market in Texas. Oh, that's interesting. In California, you can buy liquor at grocery stores, but in Massachusetts, you can't. So, like, we don't have state-run alcohol stores in California. You can buy liquor with, like, liquor stores. You can just buy them, like, corner liquor stores. Like, they're everywhere. And I'm pretty sure, like, you can get beer and wine in grocery stores. Can you get hard liquor in grocery stores in California? Can you? Can you? Can you? I feel like maybe you can. I don't know if that's true. Yes, you can. Thank you, Toy Boat Sailor. I used to drink heavily and had a high tolerance for beer and liquor. Then I didn't drink for 3 years. The first night I was out drinking and I nearly blacked out because I instinctively drank like I used to but could not handle it at all. Yeah, I'm going to test something, by the way. Can I do this? Yes. I wanted to buy whiskey while in England and I was so puzzled at the lack of liquor stores. Wait, they don't have liquor stores in England? Really? Here you can't buy hard liquor or wine in grocery stores. It has to be a separate store, so most grocery stores have one next door. But you can't buy alcohol before noon on Sundays throughout the whole state. Huh. Yeah. We can just, like, buy alcohol in California. Texas, or at least my city, not sure the jurisdiction that passed the law, forbids the buying of alcohol on Sunday mornings. Huh. Yeah, no, you can, California, you can just buy alcohol. It's fine. You can buy alcohol. It's okay. Miriam, are you okay? No. Beetle wins. No, we just have shops in the UK. We don't need to go to a special shop to buy booze. Oh. So, like, you can go to Tesco and get hard liquor? Yes? Yes? I assume. I mean, I'll be fine. Dedicated liquor stores are fairly rare in Europe. Huh. Verum says, my mom said liquor stores aren't a thing, but we picked one up from the grocery store. It was a Welsh whiskey and very good. Oh. Yeah, we have a few counties here in Kentucky that are still completely dry, which means no alcohol. So the counties are so small, there will be a bar and liquor store right across the county line. Oh. We can get whiskey in the supermarket and the local newsagent. The thing is, Beetle wins, like, I feel like there are two different types of liquor stores in the US. Maybe 3 different types of liquor stores. Like, you've got, like, your corner liquor store, which just has, like, a bunch of liquor. But then you've got, but I feel like it's, like, usually cheap. Like, you might find those in, like, maybe less good neighborhoods. A lot of poor neighborhoods have liquor stores, which are just liquor stores. They don't have any food. They just have liquor. Usually cheap liquor. And lots and lots and lots of it. But a lot of the liquor stores I've been to are a bit more... well, the ones I go to are not super high-end. They're not, like, fancy, but they're fancier. So, like, they would have specialty liquor, and they would usually be able to order you specialty liquor. So, like, your average grocery store is probably not going to have some, like, really exciting, fancy whiskey. But if you go to a liquor store, you can get it there, right? So, so the liquor stores usually are going to have a wider variety of liquor, maybe more expensive liquor, fancier liquor. They won't just have, like, 2 different whiskeys. They'll have, like, a gazillion different whiskeys, wines from all over. So it's like, usually if you go to a liquor store, it's because you want something specialized, is what I would say. Severick says, West Virginia here, beer and wine pretty much anywhere, liquor from liquor stores, no sales of alcohol on Sundays till after 1 p.m. unless you're a restaurant, then it's 10 a.m. Interesting. Beetlewind says, we have off licenses, which would be the equivalent of a liquor store. Yeah, they tend to just sell booze and snacks. Yeah, that's about what we get. We get basically just booze and maybe some, like, you know, candy bars or whatever up front. Sea Spider says, you Americans just have a weird relationship with alcohol. Mm-hmm. A few years back, I went to a board games convention with my brother. We stayed on Sunday so we could watch football, went to buy beer, and what do you know? You can't buy alcohol in Indiana on Sundays or some nonsense like that. Well, I mean, remember, alcohol was illegal in the United States for like 13 years, from 1920 to 1933 nationally, and it's still illegal in some counties. There are stores that mainly sell all kinds of drinks, alcoholic or not, and they often make most of their profit selling alcohol. Most of our liquor stores will have non-alcoholic drinks, but usually just mixers, right? Like they'll have orange juice and sodas, things that you can then mix into your alcohol. And we actually have some stores. There's this one shop that I went to that I don't think it actually sells a lot of alcohol. It might sell some, but all the stuff they have is like super, super specialized. We have alcohol shops for the luxury booze, the good stuff cheap you can get in the supermarkets, yeah. Barentor says, corner stores won't have big ones and not a huge selection, yeah. Big box stores will be like small grocery-sized one with a lot of selection for wine and stuff, and then there are the grocery-adjacent ones with like an okay selection and some expensive stuff, yeah. The best booze, you're gonna get in a specialty shop, yeah. Your turn, my turn says, well, tolerances could be affected by how the alcohol was created. So, Ice Bunny, wine, beer, mead haven't been distilled, so there are still yeasts in the food you drink. Wine has stuff like tannins, which can affect tolerance. The equivalent in beer is terpene, a chemical common to hops. Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, we have rules at all restaurants, not bars, to serve before noon on Sundays for like brunches and Oh, I forgot to add, says Saverick. Some pharmacy stores like CVS or Walgreens are allowed to sell liquor as well here in West Virginia because medicine? Wizard Style says, yeah, I have a specialized whiskey and wine shop here. The whiskey they sell comes from unlabeled bottles because they get it from a tiny distillery with no marketing. Oh, that's interesting. That's the kind of place I'd associate with liquor stores in Europe. Polish Crypt is like, I will never understand pharmacies that sell alcohol. You know, our pharmacies just stopped selling cigarettes. I mean, at least in Massachusetts, well, it might be national. Rite Aid stopped selling cigarettes, and I don't know if CVS stopped selling them, but our pharmacies have now stopped selling cigarettes, at least some of the big chains. Riss is like, there are states with drive-through liquor stores, and that is true. Yep. Okay, but isn't there not also the thing that distilling it purifies the alcohol so the hard stuff makes you drunk, but the hangover is bad? I don't get hangovers with hard liquor, but I get hangovers with wine. So like for me, wine will give me a hangover. I never really drink. I most only drink hard liquor in cocktails, and I would not get hungover. But I had like my second hangover of my life recently when I had a bunch of wine, and that did me in. I was like, oh no. I don't think Massachusetts doesn't have drive-through liquor stores. Texas does though. When I was stationed in Texas, they had drive-through liquor barns. Kentucky will sell tobacco products, so they make it illegal just about everywhere. We were such a tobacco-making state that smoking is still huge here. I get a headache from red wine often. That's what happened to me, Polished. Even if I just have one glass, can have a bottle of wine and not really feel hungover. Oh yeah, I had this hangover. That's what, Polished. Yes, I had this red wine and it gave me a headache. And I was like, but like, that's what I assume a hangover is? No, yes. White wine gives you migraine attacks. 2 glasses of red and I'm dead the next day. Sulfates is what usually does that. Oh. I just assume that's what a hangover felt like. Right? I'm like, summer wine does that. What's one of the component? White wine. Oh. Some warmer and tequila with the worst headaches. Yeah, because like I really only had 2 hangovers in my life. One, when I had that red wine a couple years back at a conference, and I was like, oh, I feel terrible. And then the other time when I made some poor choices when I was in the Army this one time. You know how sometimes you're in the Army? That one time you're in the Army, you're just there, and you're making some really, really poor choices with your life that have to do with tequila and alcohol poisoning. Barentor, I feel like, no, I'm just saying that, like, see, Barentor and I probably had a similar experience, except that I was not in Tijuana. I was in Korea, and there were some really, really bad choices being made. Really bad choices. Very bad choices. I'll be fine, but I'm gonna lay here a bit. Oh. Making poor choices is what the Army is all about. I don't remember coming back to the US. Ooh. Oh. Okay. I see. I gotta do, this is like a piano. Polish, I've made a few bad choices in my life. I'm just saying, Polish, that, so, no Army needed. Yeah. I will say that I never drank as much as I did when I was in the Army. I will say that. No, Mim is laying down. Mim is going to, like, recover is what's going to happen. Conference call, no. I can't drink Jägermeister. I want to funk. So what happened was, what do you think that is? Nope. Let me start again. Dang it. Ooh, this is going to be a little bit tricky because I think the problem is I've got to do them sequentially, and I'm not quite certain how I'm going to get from here without hitting that one. What do you think? What do you think? Maybe I can start here. Probably not. How do I get there? Maybe. All right, we're gonna try. See if this works. No. So I've got to get those three in order. Okay, that'll be tricky. A double jump. That would be what I would like to do. That would be brilliant. My dad was in the Navy and spent all his time trying to leave the Navy. I had to tell my folks about me signing up when a very good family friend was visiting. I figured they couldn't kill in front of witness. Coldrake. I didn't mind the military, but when I was done, I was so done. Yeah. I mean, like, they only ding when you, yeah. Warm vodka and lime soda was what made my room spin. Jägermeister was affectionately known as dear favored liquor amongst my college friends. Ooh. Can I walk without pressing the keys? Yeah. Good call, Jer. Good call. Wait. Ooh, 4. Okay. Connect 4. Simon says. Okay. All right. Yes. Jer stole my idea. I'm suing for copyright infringement. All right. Well, we're gonna get it up there. I did my military time, but got out to go back to college. Sometimes I wonder how things would have gone if I'd stayed in. Oh, okay. Coldrake and Barentor, why are you like talking about my life? I just keep thinking about the fact, like, it was this moment. Oh, it's weird. It's weird. It's hey K-Hawk, Hawkeye. It's a very strange thing because, yeah, so nope. Okay. So what happened was, yeah, I had 3 friends Facebook me and they all stayed in, which I never dreamed they would be. Yeah. So I joined in 1990, and I got out. I sort of flunked my first year of college and was jumping from job to job. Other families trying to get me to join before. Oh yeah. No, I joined right before the first Gulf War happened. And I got out after 4 years for reasons. And your students would have missed a very good teacher and some recruits would have had a nice boss. Yeah. Well, what happened? Your turn, my turn. This is what happened. I got out, and then I applied for this job, basically doing what I did in the military as a civilian contractor, because I had a security clearance. I had a top secret special bonus security clearance. And top secret security clearances are expensive, but like the bonus security clearance is like $100,000. And they were gonna pay me like less than $30,000 a year, and I would have to travel all over the place all the time. And I was like, wait, so you want me because I've got this $100,000 security clearance, and you're going to pay me not a lot of money for it, relatively speaking, and I'm going to have to travel a lot. And so I just decided not to take the job. I was offered the job, and I just turned them down, and I just stayed in Germany and just did that instead. Yeah, but that at top secrets plus. My ex was in the Air Force. By the time college was done, she was very much missing it, plus 2 kids. But like a dance, I tried to go back in so she would be around. Yeah, it was, I remember, so I got out, and I thought about it, but I got out for a reason. I got out because, so I joined in 90, right? And in 1992, they instituted Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And how do I put this? This is how I'm going to put it. The Army has, I had to get secret but not top to be on the flight line or in the Ordnance Radar Tech. Yeah. How and why did you leave the enlisted service? Hearing about enlisted service is always interesting to me, considering the checkered history it has with its members. Oh, a Nanosphere, it's super interesting. You're just under a contract, right? So you sign up for a contract for 4 years, and if your contract is done, then you leave. I just didn't re-up. Yeah, I went from the Army to Air Force. Oh, that's interesting. They offered me a job I could not refuse, Space Command. Ooh. But I landed up in the hospital due to extreme pneumonia, medical out. Oh no, instead of off for space, that's, no. Okay. So, yeah, no, it's just like, I just was up for my contract, and then I, boom. So this is what happened. And I remember basic training, I was in shape back then. Oh, same mood. I spent a year at Language School Monterey. Yep. Oh, packing is awful polished. How long do you have before you have to move out? So the Army has... Okay. So the Army has ideals. I don't know what's going on over there, but... Oh, we must be doing that must be the Overseer song, right? Oh, ooh. Ooh. It's Grace noting. Yes. Oh. Wow, sure looks different. My friend did 4 years in the Navy, 4 in the USMC, 8 in the California National Guard, and now is in the Border Patrol. Oh, wow. So my time in service wasn't that bad for being enlisted. I mean, I thought enlisted was fine. 3 rounds of Simon? Or 4? Wait, I missed the thing. Why are you gold? I don't know. So what happened was, the Army has these ideals of what makes a good leader, like leadership ideals. And I'm going to tell you something. Like, I was, how do I put this? As they would say, high speed, low drag. I was hardcore. I was hua. And I made my E5 in 3, which is as fast as you can possibly do it. Like, I made my E5 as fast as you could possibly make it. So I was a sergeant real fast, and I was like really good at my job. I was very, very good at what I did. And when I became a sergeant, I was like, this is like, you know, I read up all about leadership. E5 is a sergeant. It's your first of all. Yeah, there's is this game the version of Crisis of Infinite Earths? Probably. And then like you're gonna get what was his name? What was his name? It wasn't Harlequin. It was like the messenger person. The herald, the messenger. Yeah, so there are 10 or 11 steps unlisted, and 10. I would not do well in the army. Really bad at the whole following orders thing. You know, the thing is polished. It's not that big of a deal in the end, because the thing is, once you get out of training, you're just doing a job. Do you know what I mean? And so it's not like people. Yeah, all right. Harbinger, thank you, Harbinger. High five, Coldrake. It's our job. Yeah, it's not, they don't really give you orders so much. Like, it's like, basically the army is not like basic training. Basic training is 8 weeks, and after basic training and your regular training, advanced training, you just do a job. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's it. Like, you just do a job. I'm bad at following orders in academia. Yeah, it's basically was just doing a job. That's it. But anyway, so there was like this whole sort of ideal of what it means to be a good leader, to be a good non-commissioned officer, a good NCO, a good sergeant. And I actually quite believed the things that they said about what makes a good leader. I thought that a lot of the things, well, a good NCO, officers, whatever about officers, whatever. And I was just about ready to talk smack about officers, but I'm going to stop. But you know, it was like the principles of leadership for a good NCO are things like lead from the front, take care of your soldiers. Officers don't learn that because officers are different. But like, you know, take care of your soldiers, lead from the front, effective communication. All these things, and one of those things, one of the main skills, one of the main principles of good leadership for a non-commissioned officer is honesty. My only interaction with this military shows like NCIS, yeah. The media does not necessarily do a very good job of depicting what the military is like. Maybe because the military is a little bit boring in real life. Coldrick, I was sort of that way, but my pet peeves was just having some officers that were total dunderheads. Oh yeah, had 5 LTs cycle through. 2 were exceptional. 1 was a total Richard. Yeah. Yeah, so like, that's like one of the principles of leadership, that to be a good leader, you must be honest. And the thing is that the military required me to lie about who I was. It was required. If I did not lie about who I was, they would put me in prison or kick me out with a dishonorable discharge, and I'd lose my benefits. But they could also just put me in prison. And so I had to lie about who I was. And that, yeah, thanks, Clinton. And that was really difficult for me because I am a fairly honest person. I'm a diplomatic person, and I'm like kind of a private person, but I'm an honest person. And it was very upsetting to me to know that I was not able to fulfill the ideals of being a good leader because I had to lie about who I was. It was very difficult to have to lie all the time about everything about me, and I did not like it. I didn't like having to lie. I didn't like to be being put in a position where I had to lie all the time. And in so many ways, like, you might think it's like just like a big thing, but it's like every aspect of your life you have to lie about all the time. Barantor says, I was in an MOS that didn't require a lot of gray matter to be in because of my limitations with color blindness. So I found myself butting heads with a lot of my superiors because they would follow orders without question and follow traditions that weren't always efficient and wouldn't allow any independent thought. Ooh, Barantor, that would be awful. I would hate that. I mean, I was lucky that I was in military intelligence, so I didn't have to worry about that. But like that, Barantor, I would have hated that. Kuldrick, Trooper being in the military is stressful enough, let alone having to shoulder that burden on top of the rest. Hey, Chromatic Chameleon. God, I'm not surprised that you're as awesome as you are. Yeah, but also, like, there were, like, a lot of things. Like I remember this one moment when I was at work and I had the Stars and Stripes newspaper, you know, as you do, and it was lunch break, and for my lunch break, what I would do is, like, I would go off to, like, there was, like, this break room that had a video jukebox, and I would put in Cranberries' Linger, and I touched myself by the Divinals, and I would, like, get a juice box, and I would, like, get, like, a sandwich, and I would, like, read the Stars and Stripes newspaper. And this was 1992-ish, I would say. And I remember reading the paper, and of course, the break room is completely full of my colleagues. We're all here together. And I'm reading the newspaper, and I see this story about the very last person kicked out of the military under the policy before Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and it was a friend of mine. It was somebody that I knew back when I was in training in Texas. And I had to not register at all. Like, and I couldn't, like, read the article very closely because I didn't want anyone to see that I was reading an article, so it might be suspicious why I would be reading it. And I had to not register that somebody that I knew was kicked out. And, you know, things like that. Or like when I had undercover cops trying to catch me and put me in prison, and I had to, like, be really cagey and careful to make sure that, like, they couldn't catch me on anything. So, like, dodging undercover police, I had to do that. Or, like, you know, like, if you have, like, a really bad breakup, like, you have a bad breakup and you're completely devastated, we have to act like everything is totally fine and like, nobody can know. Or, like, I remember those moments, like, this was a good time. This was, like, hilarious. When I was, so before Don't Ask, Don't Tell was put into place, Bill Clinton said that he was going to lift the ban on gays in the military, and then everybody was talking about gays in the military, which was, like, really awful. Yeah, 90s Germany, oh my gosh, yeah. Like, so everyone was talking about it, like, which was not great because it was better when people were just kind of ignorant. And I remember sitting there, and I remember people were talking about gays in the military, and I happened to be in the room, and they were like, oh no, it's so terrible. Oh yeah, undercover police, yeah, of course, because it was illegal, and if they could catch you, they would put you in prison. I had a friend put in prison. I had friends kicked out, I had friends put in prison, I had undercover police looking for me. Like, you know, it was like a fairly intense moment. Oh, your turn, my turn. There are things I cannot speak about. We drove the multi-services at the food hangout at the language school, playing the jukebox that had the Living Tell overture. Yes. And I remember everybody's in the group and they're talking, right? And they're like, we can't have any gays in the military. That would be awful. And they're like, you know, we can tell if somebody's gay just by looking at them. And I was like, oh yeah, totally. And they're like, yeah. And I remember this one guy who was a person who was, like, you know, my colleague. We had to rely on each other for our lives, right? You know what I mean? Like, we are comrades in arms. We're colleagues. And I remember he was saying, you know, if I knew anyone, if I found out that anybody here was gay, I would kill them. And he was not joking, and he was not being hyperbolic. He really meant that if he found out that anybody in that room was gay, he would straight up murder them. And other people were like, yeah. And I was like, oh, yeah. And, like, to know that people who thought that we were really, really good friends, A, didn't actually know anything about me, and B, if they did, they would murder me, that was a tad stressful. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was just like a tad stressful. So, you know, but we've come this far. We did. I Get Up Referring Gay was, like, untouchable. Like, do the job as best you can. And that's all I cared about. And there were people like, and here's a thing in case you want to know. It's one of the reasons why I'm an insane overachiever now. One of the reasons why I am, and actually a lot of gay people who were military gay people became insane overachievers because we believed that if we were, like, 200% better than everyone else, they maybe wouldn't kick us out. Like that was the thought, that if we made ourselves indispensable, if we made ourselves so good at what we did, just like so good, that maybe that would make us safe. And so like I just became this like hyper competent person, and I was like I mean, you may not like, I was the soldier of the year for the intelligence and security command for all of Europe. And then I went to the soldier of the year competition for the entire army. I was the European representative. That was me competing against the European representative, the Pacific representative, and the continental US representative. And I actually sort of won that one, but they gave it to somebody else. They said that we tied in points, but they gave it to the other person mainly because of politics, because the person who won Sergeant of the Year was also from Europe. So the person who won Sergeant of the Year was from Europe, and he won handily. And the person that I was tied with, apparently it was not tied. I beat them by 1 point. That's what I heard. But I was also coming from Europe, so if both the soldier and the sergeant of the year were from Europe, it would have looked bad. So they gave it to the other person. I don't care. It's fine. Like I did not care. But like, yeah, so like, you know, I was like one of the best soldiers in the entire army, and I'm going to tell you, for my particular job, the thing that I did in military intelligence, I was better than people at the NSA at that job. I think I was probably one of the best people at my particular subject area in the entire army, and also the NSA. And I knew things that people at the NSA did not know about my subject matter. And they did not believe me, is what I'm going to tell you, until they did. I shoved 20 hours of doing stuff into 24 hours. Overachiever. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know, Coldrake. Yeah. The downside of military life: brown nosers who tend to advance. So yeah. But dude, as awesome as you're a soldier, the best thing you did was be pro-social. Yes. Oh yeah. You know, SCI. That's. Mm-hmm. I was then. I was. Although Krellin, that's a hard question. Well, might have done. But also, let me put it this way. I was also not presenting female in the correct way. Let's put it that way. I didn't do female quite well enough exactly. So I was not going to be, I got the downsides of being seen as a woman, but not the upsides, which is complicated. It was a kind of a complicated mixed bag of ridiculousness. All that training, all that money to security clearances, all that knowledge, and they're sweating you about wearing, yeah. Sort of. It's tricky. It's tricky. That was yeah, you were black. Isn't that always, yes, it is. Yeah, being presented, being a woman in the military is really tricky. It's really, that's a very difficult line to walk, because you have two options. Either you're a really good soldier and then people think you're gay and try to get you put in prison, or you go super feminine and then people like you, but they think you're not a good soldier. So there's always this huge line that you have to walk between the expectation that you're feminine, but if you do that, they don't respect you. But if you do the things that will make them respect you, then they don't think you're a good woman. And then they might be weird to you in other ways. So I was not feminine, and I did not do that well. And I was really good at my job, so that helped. But like, yeah. I remember this moment. It was this moment when I was in training. PLDC, the Primary Leadership Development course. It's the course you have to take if you want to become a sergeant. You have to take it before. And I got a slot. It was hard to get one, but I got a slot. people, and it was like 220 something. And the primary leadership course was for development course was for all of Europe, and mostly like I think that was maybe only like 2 military intelligence people that got a slot that cycle. 2 feminine lots think you got where you are by flirting. Yep. 2 masculine, its own problems. Yep. Pregnancy in the military starts a lot of bad talk. Although men in the military lose way more time to women lose less time to pregnancy than men do to alcohol problems. Usually getting drunk and then falling off of a berm and then breaking something or punching each other. Yeah, I can definitely see how when your choices are be disrespected and have your career roadblocked or be thrown in the military jail, why people would pick the former. Yeah, I mean yeah. Culture says either you're a female that looks like you got hit 24 times with the ugly stick, but you can do the job and still date the dorks, or you were the poster girl for wearing the uniform and act like a princess. The military is terrible about seeing people as people. Yeah, it's really, and it's worse in the Marine Corps actually. But I remember, so there's going to be 220 something people in this primary leadership development course, and I'd come from Korea, which was a tactical unit, and we were doing our thing, and I was in there in this course, maybe only 2 or 3 military intelligence people were there at the time, and of people that were presenting as women, there were maybe 6 or 7 total out of like the 200 and something, 220, and I was doing a really good job at my primary leadership development course, despite the fact that there was hazing, right? Let's just say that there was hazing. We'll say that. And yes. Well, the Navy's really bad with women, though. The Navy's really bad with women because the Navy thinks that it's bad luck for women to be on ships. Interesting thing, when women were finally allowed, women were not allowed on ships for a really long time. And when they said that basically women have to be allowed on ships in the Navy, like in the 70s, all the women that they assigned on ships all got kicked out for being lesbians, whether they were or not. Didn't actually matter if they were lesbian. They just kicked them out for being a lesbian anyway because they did not want women on ships. Like that was a thing they did in the 70s. It was what it was. There were several times I've ever heard Marines talking about a fellow Marine who got pregnant and surmising they did it to not go on float, not go on certain fun OPs, and also yeah. Right, so here I'm in this training, right? I got my hazing. I got really stupid hazing that was really dumb, and we had to go out into the field. And this field exercise, now please note, I was in Korea before this, like where I was like in I was attached to an infantry unit. We were in the field. It was all like hardcore. And so here we are in this training unit, and you're supposed to be in your unit. Do you know, like you're supposed to go to the field in their barracks for each unit. So like each platoon has its own little field barracks. And we all go to our field barracks. And at this point in time, Coulter says, yes, at language school, they had twin USMC princesses. Near the entire male contingent was ordered to protect these women with their lives and to not let any other service ever talk to our service. Meanwhile, the Marines are murdering sex workers in Okinawa. Like, I'm just going to note that one. Your turn, my turn says, for Trooper, I think the fact that you do this so well is a huge asset to the American understanding of our culture. Thank you. Thank you. So here I am, right? So I go to my whole platoon, we all go together, and side note, at this point in time, I was the platoon leader, but I actually think I ended up being the student first sergeant. I think I was the student first sergeant for the entire unit at this point in time. Yeah, I know, sorry. Yeah. So how much did you have in Germany, and how did it affect you? I spent 2 years in Germany in the military and 3 years as a civilian, and it affected me all the time. So very much. Like, you can't even imagine how much it affected me. Quite profoundly. So anyway, so I think at this point in time I was like the student first sergeant. Like, basically I'd gotten to like the highest you could go in terms of leadership in this unit, and so we're going into the field. And I go into the big barracks with my unit, and I should just point out that I am the only person who's presenting as a woman in my unit. So we all go to the barracks, and these barracks are like, put in your sleeping bag, you go to sleep. And as I'm sitting there, our instructor comes in to talk to us, looks at me, and is like, oh, hold on, and then leaves. And I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, oh yeah, because you're a woman, you can't be in the same barracks as all the guys, which was stupid because we did that in Korea. That was dumb. So they had to go and figure out what to do about all of the women because they couldn't be in the same barracks as the guys from their unit, which is dumb. And I remember the sergeant left, and one of my fellow soldiers turned to me and said, "Oh, Pennington. Oh yeah, I forgot that you're a girl." And I just said, "Yeah, me too." And that was like this thing where because I did not think of myself that way, and it was weird to be reminded that I was seen that way when I did not see myself that way. And it was like one of those moments where I was like, hold on a second. Like, because I was not yet out as trans to myself. Because I didn't know that trans men were a thing, because there was no representation of trans men at all. Like, this is like 1992, 93. There's almost no representation of trans men, so you just wouldn't know they existed. Like, the closest thing I got to any kind of representation of a trans man, which is not a trans man, would be Viola from Twelfth Night by Shakespeare, or the movie Just One of the Guys, right? But so, like, basically there's no representation at all. So, like, I didn't have any kind of language to describe how I felt. And even if I had these feelings, there was nothing you could do about it. So you probably should probably just not think about it at all, because it's not going to do you any good. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be helpful for you to think about a thing that is just not possible. So I just tended to not think about it. And then when that colleague of mine, when my battle buddy was like, "Oh yeah, I kind of forgot that you were a girl." And I was like, "Yeah, me too." That was like this moment where I was like, hold on. And I was like, cannot think about this right now. And then I just had to put it away. And they put all of the women in the barracks by themselves. And so these barracks held like 50 people, and they put us in one, and there were just 5 of us. And we were separated from our units. We didn't really know each other. We were like, our units were having conversations and bonding and being able to do all this stuff, and we were by ourselves. It was crappy. It was crappy. I didn't like being separated from a unit. Like, this was and I was the leader of that unit. Like, I was the student leader of the unit, and I didn't get to be with my unit at all. I thought it was really awful. I really didn't like it. And I also didn't like it for trans reasons, but I didn't understand that at the time. But I didn't like it for a lot of reasons. But to finish that story, I also, there was me and one guy, and we tied for first place to be the top of the entire class, out of the entire PLDC. It was like me and this guy, we tied top of the class. We had the exact same scores on everything. And they had to do a tiebreaker. And so they decided to do land navigation as the tiebreaker, where they give you these instructions that are, oh, you know what, by the way, we're gonna have to do our giveaway, by the way. So they have these instructions. You start at a spot, and they give these instructions like, walk forward 100 yards, then go east 25 yards. They give the instructions, and then say what number you see in front of you. And then you have and then from there they give you, like a set of 4 points you have to find, right, by these instructions. And if your walking is off, like, you have to count how many paces is 100 yards. Like, you have to just know it. And if you're off, you're not going to get the right numbers. And so they decided to use the land nav as a tiebreaker. And I beat him by 1 point in the land nav that we took during the course. But they decided to make us do land nav again, like a second time, just as a tiebreaker. And so then we did land nav again, and he beat me by 1 point the second time, although I beat him by 1 point the first time. And so he got number 1, and I got number 2 out of like 200 and something people. It was fine. You know what I mean? Like, it was fine. It's fine. But so point being that I was also number 2, anyway, I did a lot of stuff in the Army. I was invaluable, but I had to leave because I did not want to either be put in jail or have to lie about who I was all the time. And I didn't want to be, oh, see you later, Hawkeye. And I didn't want to be, I didn't want to be, I didn't, there are things you have to do when you lie about who you are all the time, and I didn't like doing those things, and I don't like lying, and there are things that I mean, like, I can do it because I can do anything for 4 years, but I did not want to spend 20 years of my life, I didn't want to spend 20 years of my life having to burn letters that I got from friends, having to make sure there's nothing ever anywhere written, make sure that even when I was in a civilian space and no one knew where I was nowhere near the military, that I didn't hold anybody's hand in public, that when anybody came into, like, there were these like secret bars I would go to, and if I'd be watching that bar, I'd have to be really careful to maybe walk out the back, that I, that I had to make sure that anybody that I was dating never called me, because it wouldn't look good if somebody of the, that was perceived as being the same sex called me too many times. Basically, I mean, I had a very, very intense closeted life, like it was the 1950s, and I could do it because you can do anything, like you can do push-ups and all that. But I was like, I don't think it's worth it to do this for another 20 years. What the kind of toll it would take on my soul, lying about who I am for 20 years, was something that I did not think it would be good for me to do. And so I left. But that was actually also very difficult to do because they did not want me to leave. So I had to actually also do one more set of lies in order to get out of the military because they didn't want me to go. Polish said, I can't speak to military or trans experience, but as a woman who presents extremely feminine but does not have a feminine personality, I can reach some of this. Oh yeah, Polish. Like, it was really hard. Military women, it was hard. What if their bodies get out? Yeah, you're just one of the guys. Guys being clubbed down for all the genders who mesh well. Yeah. People still don't really know that trans men exist. They think all trans people are trans men. That's true, Krellin. Relate in terms of being good at your job or being liked, I should clarify. Oh, totally, Polished. I totally get that. It's an interesting thing, says Nanosphere. Trans men don't trigger any of the hateful groups, and I guess the male groups aren't able to or aren't interested in talking about how trans men affect them. Actually, Nanosphere, that's not true. TERFs don't like trans men either. They say TERFs say very harmful things and hurtful things about trans men. It's actually, the things they say about trans men are really, really bad. People who are not TERFs don't tend to know we exist at all. So, there's that. But TERFs say really, really, really awful things about trans men too. And also trans men also still do get murdered. There's a lot of corrective rape for trans men. It's pretty bad. Part of it is that post-pubescent transition tends to have higher levels of passage success for testosterone. That's true. I love Nanlev. I love Landnav too. It was so good. Tybix is +5 white. Krellin, how did you know he was a white dude? He was. That is true. That is true. The course, the instructions, that the Landnav instructions they gave me were really, really hard. The very last point, it was insane. The last point I had for that land nav, I did my nav. I get to this point and there's like 3 trees about like 5 feet apart and each one has a number on it. And I was like, oh, come on. Like, they were so close together. It was like, I was like, well, I'm going to just have to pick one of these 3. Like, they get like, well, all right then. Yeah. I did land nav as a class and Aratsi loved it. Was this the time you snuck into the men's barracks creating the no, that was in training. That was in training that I did that. No, officers don't know how to do stuff. Our land nav was in the brush and they had painted ammo cans with numbers inside you to find via compass settings. Yeah. I couldn't do anything for 4 years. Heck, I have the problems doing the things I don't like for 3 days. Oh, yeah, no, I can just do stuff. Like, basically my thought was, Krellin, I hated high school because I was bullied mercilessly in high school. I said, if I can go through high school, I can go through the army. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. Ours had paper equals punches, unique teach location. Yeah. So religion a subject? Of course. I was never good at taking stupid orders, so I doubt I could have retired from the military. I've always found that so strange, but that's because I've tended to know more trans men than trans women personally. Yeah. Oh no, Glenn was, yeah. One tree tells the truth, the one tree tells only lies, and the other tree is just there to be awkward. Yes. Oh, sure looks different. What do you think happened, Miriam? Yeah, what happened? Miriam, are you okay? Obviously not. Everything sucks right now. Well, I can carry you, Miriam. Aww. Aww. So I remember it was this whole thing where, ooh. Yes, there's a shirt. It's just like a beige shirt. I went to the military because I was tired of going to school. After basic, they sent me to school for another year. Never duty trans folks. Everything sucks right now. Yes, Miriam's living in 2020. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny, Miriam? You're always carrying me around on your broom, but now I'm carrying you. It's harder than it looks. Miriam, are you okay? Are you okay? So here's what I want to tell you, right? Where was your basic? Oh, I did basic training Fort Jackson, South Carolina, where they have palmetto bugs, which if you don't know what they are giant flying cockroaches, and therefore inappropriate. Inappropriate. It's great yourself and mixed features. I can't believe you really came here. Didn't confuse you to walk. Oh, no. No. She ain't heavy, she's Miriam, even in the midst of this crisis. Oof. So it was like top of my class in PLDC. Soldier of the year for almost basically came in second politics for PLDC, Soldier of the Year for the entire Army in SCOM, top of my class in basic training, top of my class in my advanced training, subject matter expert that told the NSA that they were doing it wrong. They didn't believe me, and then I was right, and then they were wrong. Don't act like you're better than us. What are people talking about? No palmetto bugs. It's really terrible. So I was like, I did very well at my job. And I left the Army because if I would have stayed, it would have destroyed my soul. And also, I might have been put in prison. So I thought there'd be more of you. So I left. But we have our hands full. Ooh, sand fleas. But I will say that leaving the Army was not as easy as you would think. There's an outbreak of giant monsters. Because the reason why it was not as easy as you would think, maybe you noticed, is because they didn't want me to leave. It is our burden as well. Oh, I feel like they're going to make friends. So they didn't want me to leave. Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, Language School Monterey, more training San Angelo, Texas, Fort Devens, Mass, then centered West Germany, Fort Jackson, South Carolina, Goodfellow Air Force Base for my advanced training, you and me, Coldrake, we do the same thing, Fort Devens for tactical add-on, again like you, South Korea, and then Germany. Yep. This is a theater exercise right there. You cannot call an alias command from, wait. You cannot call an alias command from an alias command. I see. Well, that's not what I want. Well, that's irritating. That's irritating. Hold on. Well, let me just fix this then. I see what's going on here. VG. Submit. Okay. Just roll Miriam down the hill. Yes. His favorite story was a recruit had to dig a 6-foot grave for killing a sand flea, then had to stand guard over the grave. Oh, are you not on time? We are. But the thing is, you can renew your contract, right? So I was in for 4. I mean, it can also just put you in prison, right? But I was in for 4. But the thing is, when it comes to the time contract, I was very motivated. What happened was that I was on the time contract, and you have a re-enlistment window. That opens up let's say 6 months before the end of your contract and closes 3 months before the end of your contract, or 9 months and 3. Anyway, they give 6 months window where you can re-up. And the NSA had specifically by name requested that I go and work at the NSA because I actually knew this one topic better than they did, made them look a little embarrassed. It was kind of exciting. I can tell you that story another time. Anyway, so they specifically requested me by name to come to work at the NSA. And the problem with working at the NSA is that in order to get read on, you have to take a lie detector test. And you have to take a lie detector test. And I did not know what they would ask me in that lie detector test. I talk to friends about ways to make sure that lie detector tests will be inoperable. So, for example, one of the things they said was put a tack in your shoe, and anytime you answer a question, step down on the tack so that you have a shot of pain, and that will then cause your entire lie detector test to be basically invalid. But what would then happen is that you just wouldn't get read on, so that I would go to the NSA, I would fail my lie detector test, but they wouldn't catch me for anything and put me in prison, which would be the main goal. But then I wouldn't be able to actually do the job. I would just be like stuck outside. And so I was like, yeah, as long as being who I am could put me in prison, and because here's the thing, it was only the NSA that did that. The other stations, you didn't have to take a lie detector test to be stationed anywhere else. So I could do my job really well everywhere else. But if I wanted to work at the Pentagon or the NSA, I would have to take that lie detector test. And so, and it's based on super flawed science. And so I was like, I just don't need them to ask me questions. Because it's don't ask, don't tell, but they still ask. And if they asked me questions, I didn't want to go to jail. So I needed to get out of the military. That was like the main reason, is because the NSA wanted me real bad. And I was like, oh, you want me real bad, but I'm afraid what will happen when I get there. And so what happened was I had to tell them that I was going to re-up. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm totally re-upping. Like, I told them that I was like totally going to do it so that they would leave me alone and not bother me. And they believed me because I got really good at acting. Also, I did theater before I started the Army, but also because they figured I was so hardcore that of course I would, like, and that the NSA wanted me and all this stuff. And so of course somebody as high speed, low drag as I would totally re-up. So they didn't check on me. So then once my window closed, they were like, wait, you didn't re-up? And I was like, no, I didn't. And they're like, why not? And I was like, I want to go to college to become an officer, which was a lie. And they're like, all right. But if you'd known me at all, you would have known that I would never want to be an officer when I could be a non-commissioned officer. Anyway, the point is that I had to basically trick them into thinking that I was going to re-up so they would not harass me, is what happened. Is what happened. Yeah. So my one brother stayed in the Navy 2 extra years because they bought him a computer. Barontor went to Paris Island, Fort Lejeune, Fort Leonard Wood, El Toro. Then our base was closed and moved to Miramar. Oh, nice. Then I spent a year detached in Alaska. Oh, how was Alaska? I bet it was fun. Coldrake said my dad did a construction job in Alaska. He kept telling us about the black flies that were large enough to carry a person away. Oh, that sounds not good. Atomica said, I never served, but because of my dad, I dealt with disabled American veterans my entire life. I always hate listening to the horror stories of people about our time in the military without ever being deployed to a war zone. Crown's like, lie detectors don't work. Yeah, it's like they're based on flawed science. Coldrake says the guy that created the lie detector was also the guy that created the comic book character Wonder Woman. Really? Oh. I have mild arrhythmia, so that would make it very hard for me to take one, says Polish. Oh, yeah. Also interesting enough, doesn't work on psychopaths at all. Barontor says, the joint task force I was on was building a road for indigenous tribe the government promised a road from back during the Korean War. I was the safety and environmental NCO. Oh, that sounds pretty amazing, Barontor. Your turn, my turn says, let's imagine that you, a very powerful intellectual and economic authority, would try to create a device that would allow a trained professional to determine what is a true statement or a false statement. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Sorry. I mean, because, well, you know. Hey, Past Trooper, here's a tip. Are you gay? I don't have to answer that, and it's illegal for you to ask me. Wouldn't have worked. Wouldn't have worked. Because here's the interesting thing about that, Krellin. Don't ask, don't tell only was about your identity, but not your activity. They could ask you about your activity, because while the identity was no longer on the table, although they still asked, the activity was still illegal. And so you could be gay, you just couldn't do gay things. And this is why Don't Ask, Don't Tell was worse than the old policy, because they then had to define what gay things were. And they had a whole bunch of things that were considered gay things that you're like, really? That's a gay thing? Oh, okay, so that's going to get you kicked out of the military. That thing there? And you're like, oh, well, okay. Yeah. I feel like you should come back to the future. Yeah. I know. It is, yeah. But it wasn't really. So the problem is that because they're right. So a friend of mine dropped off at the university and went on to officer training, but you're not supposed to be able to go to officer school with either a ton of experience or a full degree. He had neither. Yeah. Because you could transmit cooties. It's true. The silliest example, Polished, I will tell you the two silliest examples. We got told that Sonya could get kicked out just like that. Yep, don't do gay. So for example, you could go to a gay bar, but you couldn't dance there. You could not hug someone of the same sex. So like, let's say your battle buddy's parents just died and was really upset and you wanted to give your battle buddy a hug, that could get you kicked out for being gay, even if neither one of you two were gay. So like, you couldn't hug someone. You could go to a gay bar, but you couldn't dance there. You could go to a gay pride celebration, but you couldn't march or be too enthusiastic. Like, you could stand aside and watch, but you couldn't, like, it was just a lot of weird. It was weird is what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, no hugging. I remember a Marine had a rumor of being gay because he had too many male Navy SEAL friends. Yeah. That would eliminate a lot of women straight. Yeah, yes. And that's part of why that's the thing, Polish, because they decided they're like, oh, but here's the thing. People got kicked out of the military for being gay who were not gay. Mostly women, though. Men tended not to be kicked out of being gay if they weren't gay, but women got kicked out of the military for being gay all the time when they weren't gay. That was a thing, because sometimes the Navy, especially because the Navy has a real problem with women, and so the Navy would just kick out people for being gay. I'm like, you don't need proof. Like back in the day, you didn't actually need proof that somebody was gay. I mean, proof would be just enough rumor. Like if you had enough rumor, you could be kicked out for being gay with a dishonorable discharge. The difference between being put in prison and being kicked out was whether or not they had proof. If they had proof, they could put you in prison. If they didn't have proof, they would just kick you out. That's how that went. It was pretty awesome. It was awesome. By awesome, I mean that it was bad. iShield says, that reminds me of the legal definition for homosexual slow dancing. They got Disney sued. Oh, interesting. I want to know more about that, iShield. Coldrick says, I watched Patton on TV the other day. Reminded me of my intro to basic training. They moved us into a movie theater and showed the intro of Patton giving a speech in front of the giant American flag. Oh, yeah. Nano says, I guess heterosexual men that hug other heterosexual men for heterosexual reasons aren't allowed. Nope, because that's the thing, right? Because that's what happened with Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Before Don't Ask, Don't Tell, the rule was you couldn't be gay, and if they found out that you were gay, they would kick you out or put you in prison. After Don't Ask, Don't Tell, it was you can be gay, but you can't do anything gay. And if we find out, either way, we will kick you out or put you in prison. So, yeah. Chromatic says, since we are sharing, I couldn't serve because of cerebral palsy. So my 4 years at Startfort was the closest I got. I helped train armor officers out of Fort Polk, had meets with naval admirals. Oh, wow. But had to leave because I realized while I could do military history theory, I couldn't celebrate war. Plus, when I realized I was a trans woman. Yeah, it's probably good that you didn't do it. It's probably good. PDA, personal affection, made the military nervous. Yeah. Going to the hardware store, fine. Lingering over the pastel wall paints, that's military. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Wait, does that mean that more straight people should have marched to the Pride Parade during Maybe they should have. The problem is not the rules, it's the enforcement of the rules. I would say your turn, my turn. The problem was the rules. The rules said that you had to lie about who you were. And that's going to be a problem when the Army says that to be a good leader, you have to be honest. Lying about who you were was terrible. It was terrible. It was like one of the worst experiences that I had for 4 years was having to lie about who I was to people's faces. I didn't like that at all. That made me very unhappy. I didn't like it. Because I don't like lying to people. It makes me very unhappy. Rumor is in the military is terrible. It's worse than high school and have dire consequences. Yeah. That sounds like the external world. You could be a feminist trans person, but you can't do all these things. But booze is cheap, and they don't mind someone springing their entire paycheck on the weekend and stinking like hops of money. Oh gosh. For those of you who have never had this experience, sometimes people drink so much that when you're running in the morning, you can smell the alcohol coming out of their pores. Like, no joke. Can I just compliment everybody on an excellent, interesting discussion here? Oh, thank you. Your turn, my turn. In prison for what? Being human? I seriously don't understand what one's private life is with the job you do. Oh, because sodomy is illegal. And sodomy was only decriminalized in the United States in like 2006, 2007. Fairly recently. I mean, in the U.S., it was Lawrence v. Texas in like 2006 or 7 that finally made sodomy legal, or that decriminalized sodomy. So yeah, I'm just saying that like, and some states still have sodomy laws, but they're not legal. They're just not legal though. Beetleman says DADT sounds like it comes from the same bullshit hate the sin but love the sinner thought process that bigots love to retreat. Yeah. US has gotten bad about we want to control your actions in or out of work. Yeah. Yeah. Atomic says, I hate to say there's still a few close people to me I still lie to just if you're losing the few connections I have left. Yeah, but it's hard when it's just like your whole life. Remember, the Puritans came to America because British laws wouldn't let them burn heretics. Yeah. Do you know that I knew somebody who got in trouble for sodomy who was heterosexual, by the way, who was engaging in heterosexual activity. Let me frame that, by the way. I knew somebody who got in trouble in the military for sodomy who was engaging in consensual heterosexual activity. Because the sodomy laws in the military were any oral or anal sex at all between anybody is illegal and can get you put in prison. I knew a guy, Sergeant, we won't use his last name, who was married and was having an affair with my roommate. They were having an affair. And the thing about the military is his wife found out that my roommate had given him a blowjob, which is sodomy, which is illegal. And she told his company commander, she said, my husband's having an affair and I have proof from like a, you know, some kind of letter or whatever, some kind of evidence that she gave my husband a blowjob, which is illegal. And so he got an Article 15. He got in big trouble. I think he got busted a bit because, you know, there was proof that he had oral sex. And I will note that this would not, like, it wouldn't have been a big deal, but his wife went to the company commander. And once that happens, Nano says, I remember, I think, a show where it was like Americans and others are so easy to manipulate. You're all so Puritan that women walk all over you. In Russia, we understand this is an asset. But I feel like Russia's got problems too. So anal sex with a heterosexual woman is sodomy. Yes, Nanosmere, that is correct. Anal sex, blowjobs, all of that fell under sodomy laws, and all of that was illegal. There was someone who had his girlfriend come visit him on the barracks duty late at night, and the duty officer busted in on her giving him a blowjob, got a reduction in ranks. Oh, geez, the number of creeps in the military. We had an MP who had a wife in the hospital about to deliver a baby, and he was at the club looking for some fast sex. Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, we, like, how much this story's gonna be muted for content? I don't think we'll be muted for content at all. I think we'll be fine. I don't know about YouTube, though. I'm gonna run over maybe like, I don't know, 10, 15. I wanna finish this conversation. Striking us during a disaster like this. Barbarians. No, we came because we knew you would. You're in a lot of trouble right now. The last thing we need is a bunch of lunatic witches attacking us too. Wait, stop fighting. What's going on? Boss, where did you come from? You shouldn't be out here. The military is why sometimes bring out the best or worst in people. The best or worst. Sometimes I've seen people be more giving in the army than I've seen anywhere else. When I was in the military, the things I saw in them, like the best and the worst. Like I've never seen people more selfless and more giving than in the military, and also the worst. So both, yeah, both. Like Russia's currently poisoning folks who are speaking out against it. I don't see America doing that the media are allowed to talk about. Oh, if they did, people would talk about it. The American media is pretty, we talk about all the things. The problem with Russia is that they think the US is more vulnerable to Yakov Smirnov than we really are, yeah. Beetleman says, having anything other than perfunctory missionary sex for 3 minutes or less for the sole reason of procreation, sodomy. The U.S. is one of the most communist organizations on the planet. That's true, actually. It is. It is. I had free healthcare and housing. Here's the link for the. Oh, thank you for that, iShield. I'm going to copy that link. Copy link location, because there we go. Really anything other than a firm handshake. Yakov Smirnov was a Russian comedian who defected from the 80s, who defected from Russia to the United States and made a lot of jokes about Russia. He was an old comic from the 80s. A little humor to lighten things up. When I used to explain to my family to people, I would say, "There's me. My sister's 20 years older than me, and we don't talk about Ho Chi last name. My dad who served in Vietnam, so we would get so mad at me, like, there's no fucking Ho Chi." The U.S. is also very communistic. Oh yeah. I remember watching The Terror, and there's a scene where someone talks to a gay man and says he should find enjoyment in watercolor instead. Ugh. So, in many places, only people who had served in the military would benefit from public services. So, what I wanted to tell you was, this is like the end of the whole entire story, is that when gays were allowed in the military, I still couldn't go back because I'm trans. And then Obama lifted the ban on trans people in the military. And so, like, after 20 years, so 2010, I just started my job at the university, right? My first university job, my tenure track job. And I remember thinking, oh man, if I'd stayed in the military, I'd be retiring about now. And I felt a pang of guilt and like loss. I felt that huge loss of like not having stayed in. And then when Obama was he lifted the ban on trans people in the military, and I had 1 year. I was still young enough that, because if you're prior service, the age limit is raised, so I could have gone back in. I could have gone back in to the military. I had 1 year left before I timed out. And I was like, oh, they've just lifted the ban on trans people. I could go back in the military. And I was like, I will not, because I have tenure now. I'm a professor. I have an entire life. I'm not going back to the military. But I had that feeling of sadness, of having left a job that I was super, super good at. Right. And I just was like, oh, dang it. I could go back in. I didn't, though. I didn't. And good thing, too, because then Trump put the ban back into place, because Trump and Obama are not the same. Yeah. At some point, I got to tell you how my dad got his ass kicked. Oh, yeah, I want to hear about it. Yeah, there's that weird feeling you can't be in. Yeah, Baron Torp, that's that weird feeling where I couldn't if I wanted to anymore, you know? And I was like, there was that, like, before I was like, well, I can't be in, so that's, you know, it's fine, right? I just can't be in, so there's nothing I can do about it. But then there's that moment where I could. There was that 1 year, and I was like, Obama is taller, only real difference. Also, their policies on gay things are super different, and trans things are super different. Obama, not the same, is the single most neutral statement I've ever heard. Well, I try to be neutral because I know that there are people who really, really hate Obama in our chat. Yeah, to find your deal and get kicked out, not fitting the squeeze. Yeah. I mean, you have tenure, which implies you're a super good. That's true, Beetle Lens. I suppose that's true. That's true. I try to do my job well. Hey, aren't you that peasant that I threw in jail? You know this hooligan? They colluded against me with my daughter who perished in your kingdom. They had nothing to do with that. But you turned the hero against us with those lies, leaving us alone against these monsters. How dare you speak to me of lies? You people love your filthy animals so much. Perhaps you deserve to live with monsters. So you did set them loose on us. How dare you? Only a villain like you would think of doing such a thing. You think we're the villains? Lady, you better take a look in the mirror. Ooh. Uh-oh. Obama wasn't great on gay stuff. I'll give Biden one thing. He did push the press on that. He didn't start that way, but he evolved. Do you have the tweed jacket? I don't, because I'm like, I do music and I do pop music, so I don't have to wear tweed. I can be cooler. I feel that way about fertility, where if I start hormones, I may not, if I'm still able to create viable sperm, which is where I felt I still had a chance to get viable sperm. Oh, you know, I had a friend of mine, a trans woman, who froze her sperm so that, and she's a mom now, actually, yeah. So I had a good friend of mine, trans woman. She froze her sperm before she started hormones, and she is now a mom. And like, that's super cool. I'm kind of almost working my thesis. I do not put anybody to shame. I just lost all my hair. So I was doing maintenance on the top, and private inside hit the wrong button. The engine kicked on, and my dad jumped for his life. The blade snapped into place, and oh my gosh. Ooh. I've learned so much from Troopers Movie college streams as well as, thank you, Coldrake. I'm worried that we'll be a repeat of 2016 when no one thought Trump would be elected. Yeah, well, yeah. He hit the tarmac, smote his feet, emptied 2 clips in the cockpit, then pulled a knife from his boot through it, and then passed out. Oh my gosh. Ooh. I'm glad he took out the Chinook, and I'm glad he's not, I hope he wasn't injured too badly. From east and west, our voices grow into a singular rushing flow. Ooh. Where all in pain, our hearts are aflame with a burning need to end this war. We're gonna resolve it. Yes. If we all gather our voices, then our one choice is clear, and it's not this. We can not watch and any longer while war is mongered on. It hurts us all. We have our fears. We are not the same. But no thing's worth this suffering every night and day. We share one world and share in one need to live in peace and harmony.
Come on to my house.
Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you candy. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you everything. Hey, Raiders, how are you? Thanks for the raid encounter roleplay. We're just finishing up, but we're gonna do a giveaway, so that's exciting. You can hang out with our giveaway. That's exciting. Also, we are doing the near me is where they build Army helicopters. They do test flights. There's a highway down the Cape that goes straight at an airport. It's terrifying. You're just going down the highway and a massive plane takes off in front of you. Yeah. Oh, see you, Severick. Nice chat, everyone. Nice seeing you again. Saw you at dinner at Gen Con. Dots, get together. Ooh, Severick, I hope there will be another .con at Gen Con. That would be really nice. I would love that. I would love it. That would be really nice. Can you read Hangul? I learned the alphabet. I learned the alphabet, although it's been like many years, so I've forgotten it. Coldrick says, out in West Texas, they used to train flying C-130s. Oh, yeah. C-130 rolling down the strip. You know, I was really good at cadence calling, by the way. I was an excellent cadence caller. Just saying. Just saying. The cool part is, though, that they do rescue drills. Oh, I'm playing a little bit. You know, like not a whole lot. I think my head was too fast. Interesting discussion top. Oh, half hours. We were talking about the military and being queer in the military, and how it was. I gotcha. A lot of stuff. Gay stuff, gay hunters, police, trans stuff. I did want to say this one thing, Krellin, that it was before anyone got elected. It was there was a debate sponsored by the HRC. At that time, I was kind of interested in Edwards or Kucinich, and all of them did this big debate. You know, Kucinich, Clinton, Obama, Edwards, the whole kit and caboodle of them, and they were all asked questions about gay topics. And that moment before he got elected was when I decided that I actually liked Obama best, because he was the only one that gave an actually good answer to lifting Don't Ask, Don't Tell. He was the only one that had a good answer. Everybody else had really bad answers in different ways. And that's all. Wait. Raiders. There you go. He got Atomic at the end of your story. He by the time he woke up in the infirmary, the private had already been transferred off base, not a single scratch on him. I always said, no wonder we lost when he got to the part of that story. It was a major antagonist to my dad. I like marking it says, how many bad answers can we find to the same question? Yes. Also, that trooper is high. Do you want to know what I wanted to ask you in Korean? Sure, you could ask me. I know I learned the alphabet, but my Korean is very bad. I only know very basics, hello, goodbye, thank you, please, and some curse words. That's all. Trooper's highly motivated individual, the best in military and ranking and ability, but due to being a woman at the time, couldn't advance. And also being queer. That would have been bad. So on the left, we have the bad superhero cosplayers. On the right, we have the rejects from Oz. You spoke with the voice of all the people in our two kingdoms? How is that possible? More importantly, do you really think singing some cheesy song telling us the war's pointless with the voice of the people, or whatever, changes anything? Because let me tell you. Yeah, it kind of did. I mean, I knew the war was hurting us, but I didn't realize how much. Well, I thought it was good for everyone in the long run, but I guess in their hearts, nobody really wants it. More, hearing their voices moved me. We failed those who needed us, especially in this moment of crisis. We can't afford to uphold this conflict. There must be another way to settle our differences. Yes. Wait, where's Miriam? Definitely not. And Korean ramen. Ooh, I love Korean ramen. Miriam? I'm over here. Miriam, you can walk. Barely. I just kind of hobbled over here. I thought I was good to go again, but I'm not. Listen, Lala, I don't think I'm gonna make it with you from here. What? I'm in no condition to fly you, and I don't know if you noticed, but things are getting bad. The spirit world just collapsed. Monsters are spreading everywhere. It's dangerous. The Nexus Point will be the hardest yet. I don't think I can do it. And I'm worried about my grandma. I need to go home and rest. Oh, that's okay. I'll do it myself. Oh, you aren't upset? Well, yeah, a little bit. I wish you could come. But you're right. You need to rest. And I need to keep going because we have to save the world, no matter what. Ooh, hugs. Oh, hug back. I'm really gonna miss you, Miriam. Yeah, me too. I feel so useless. I came all this way and in the end I couldn't make it. That stupid hero is probably right. I really am a loser. Miriam, that's not even close. You're so much more than that. You can do a million things I can't. By the way, make sure you're chatting in the chat so that when we do the giveaway, you'll be entered. And even if you couldn't, you'd be special anyway. Aww. Gross. Hey, do you two need help? No? Yes. We need to fly. Sure thing. Anywhere you want to go, we'll take you. It's the least we can do. Anywhere, huh? I'll be okay, Miriam. I think. Okay. Good luck on your magical adventure. I'm going home. Tell your grandma I said hi. Yeah. Oh. I feel like we finished a chapter. Hop on when you're ready. I feel like we finished a chapter, everyone. I just, oh, there are people to talk to. So we're gonna have to wait. We'll have to talk to them before we go. I feel like this is the end of the chapter, but here's the thing. We can't go on. But I believe my heart will go on. All right, what did we say? We're gonna do a giveaway, by the way, and then I've got to tell you some things. I've got to tell you things. It's important. One of your generals is a scarecrow. Of course, the war is going bad. That's fair.
Somebody's watching me.
I always feel that somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Whoa, I always feel that somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? Thank you so much, Chav Hunter 86. Chav Hunter 86, all right, yeah. All right, it's all right, innit? Look at my face. I ain't bothered, but I ain't even bothered though. But I ain't even bothered. Yeah, flying carpet would be good. So I don't want no killing of Miriam. She's so pixie, so dreamy, so girl. Aw, Miriam. The giveaway is a game called. The game is it's an indie strategy game. And it is called Warstone TD, and it's an indie strategy. It's gonna be our giveaway. And I don't know what I'm gonna have for dinner yet. I don't know yet. Oh, Unbreak My Heart. Yeah. Like, who's back to your grandma? Hey, Chav Hunter. Tell us the things. Anyone? Okay, I'm gonna tell you the things. So here's the thing. Here's what you gotta go. This is what you need to know. This is what you need to know. One. At 10 p.m., I'm going to be hosting Critical Role on this channel if you want to hang out and watch it with a chat that is not 50,000 people big, where people are very friendly. 2, and this is super important, tomorrow, I wish I could have donuts. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. on this channel, oh, so tomorrow at 1 p.m., oh, I suppose I should say that first. I'm pretty sure. Is this true? Is this true? Is this true? Hold on. I want to just make sure. Hold on. I don't want to do this wrong. Okay. So tomorrow at 1 p.m. there is no Aether's Walkway because our GM has got a gig she's got to do. But tomorrow, 7 p.m. here on my channel, Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern. On this channel is going to be the season 2 premiere of City of Light and Shadow, a French resistance campaign that is using fate with an amazing cast. One of our cast members had to step out for season 2 because he's going to grad school, JF, but we've got Grimjack Greg coming in. It's going to be really amazing. So please, if you would like to watch some great game stuff, City of Light and Shadows tomorrow at 7, you can find me at noon on Saturday Eastern for the Outer Worlds, and then top of the schedule back again for next week. So David Hume, ooh, Jules is escorting his new lover out of occupied France. Jules is not escorting his lover out of occupied France. He's escorting something else out of occupied France, but you'll just have to turn in tomorrow to find out what. You're gonna have to just turn down to find out what. So let us find out who our winner is. It's the indie strategy game Warstone, and we're gonna find out. Who our winner is. Winner chicken dinner. Half-Arsed Hermit! Half-Arsed Hermit! Oh, I'm so excited. Half-Arsed. Now it's a full arse because you won. That's what I think. I feel like that's the thing. That's how it works. I'm going to send you right. No, because it's like the whole. Thanks. I don't know, because I always found the phrase half-assed so amusing. Like half-assed, I think is hilarious because it's only half of an ass, right? Like you don't have the full ass, but just the half of one, which I feel like would make it super awkward to walk. Like how do you walk around when you only have one butt cheek? Do you know what I mean? Like that seems very difficult to walk. Like I feel like you'd have to hop. Right? No? One, perhaps two arsed? Eventually the world would figure out that I'm the best hype man in existence. Yes. So okay, a full ass escort. Two ass? Yeah. It's most like half-asses and not fully determined to do something. But I like your data. Like me too. Like I want to get data on it. I just want to have like a person that only has a half of an. It's like I feel like it would be very Dada, maybe a little bit of what's his face, Picasso, just a little, just a little, just a little bit. Kendi, yeah, I'm in it. Please link it in Discord. So Jer gave us the links. If you'd like to follow along here or subscribe, you may do so. We have a Discord. You can hang out with us there. Also, we have YouTube is also TruePressJP, where there is the archive of all of the stuff that I do here, including all the shows, and Academic Foxholes, where you can find me on Twitter, and you can find me at Academic Foxhole on Patreon, and the Patreon goes to pay the cast, which is great because so far it's working out. Like I paid about $178 for City of Light and Shadow Season 1, and this last time covered Jackie Dash for Cthulhu Confidential, and I'm looking forward to I'm hoping that like this next season of City of Light and Shadow will be basically covered, hopefully, but it's between basically it's the mix of tips, bits, and Patreon together, because Patreon is like maybe $100 a month, and it costs minimum wage for them, nothing for me. It costs $400 a month, which is really bad. It really should be $800. Like they should be making $50 for 4 hours rather than $25 for 4 hours is what really they should be doing. But at the moment, it's $25 a show, which is really not good enough. It should be more than that. But once we build up our Patreon, then I can pay the cast like an actual decent wage. And that's what you are all helping me do, so I want to thank you. And I am really happy. So I'm going to go and get food, and I'm going to host Critical Role in 40 minutes. And then I'm going to be working on my overlays and getting the new art in and all of that stuff for City of Light and Shadow. And I'm going to tell you, there's some good stuff. I'm really excited. So I want to thank Rissa and Jer, my mods, for being amazing. Jer for doing our emotes, and Rissa, I'm singing, but I'll sing it fast. I'm going to sing because we got some bits. The song "We're in the Money," as sung by Ginger Rogers from the film Gold Diggers of 1933, which means I'll be singing it in Pig Latin. And so, Earway and hey the anime, Earway and hey the anime, Ivayat gele at way of way at way it wakes to utit gele ang wayo, Irway and hey, the anime. E they I skays are ani say. Old man the ADS and pray. Ooh, are ooh, three, what's the unway hungry? Ewe ever eat bread lands lay, of way at brands lay, ute day. And when we see the end, Lord will look at the agar, we're in we're in the money, we're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. Woo! All right, everybody. That is so good. Thank you, everybody. Knowing the words is impressive, but also doing it translation on the fly in another language. I want to thank you all for being here. All of y'all are great. And I will see you at Critical Role if you're going to watch it. But I hope more importantly, I will see you for the season 2 opener. 16 episodes, 12 group episodes, 4 still episodes, season 2. I know in my mind what the title for the season will probably be, but I cannot tell you until later. First season was First Shots. Second season will be that's all. That's it. Okay. Take care of yourselves. Oh, let's do it. We're gonna do a quick raid. That's what we're gonna do. Who can we raid? Let's raid somebody. Who's going? Who's running right now? Who is running? Oh yes. Hey, is Laugh Love Lindy on right now? Is my question. Because if she is, love Laugh Lindy. Love Laugh Lindy. No, Laugh Love Lindy. Noir Enigma. Thank you, Half-Arsed. That's what we'll do. We're gonna go to the Noir Enigma, and we're gonna just raid and say hi. The Noir Enigma. Perfect. Let's do that. Okay, so y'all, if you want to, this is our raid command, and it's French for this is not a pipe, and it's a Duchamp joke is what it is, because that's how it is. So no, we're gonna do a quick raid, and then we're gonna go. That's it. We're gonna do it. Give some love, and then I'm gonna order food, and that's it. Tell him Lorenzo is the best. I will do it. Thank you, everybody. I will catch you on the flip side, and we're gonna do a raid. We're gonna do a raid, everybody. Bye.